Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's good. I got to do a couple things here and get this live situated. So good to see so many familiar faces. I have Amy joining me. Hey, car guy. I have to go into YouTube really quick. How's everybody holding up in this crazy pandemic we have going on? It's a little insane, right? I hope everyone is doing well. Give me just one moment. I got to look at my stream health on YouTube and make sure we're good. There it is. Okay. All right. I have Amy here. She's going to join us. Hey, Doodlebug. Haven't talked to you in a couple weeks. I miss you. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Glowing Ember. Hey, Wendy Johnson. Lady D. Amanda, Texas girl is here. Hi, Darwin. All right. Let me add Amy in here. And Amy's here. So, hey, Amy.
Hello. Sorry, my mic was muted, of course.
No, that's the best way to come on, actually. That's how I do it. I come on muted so that I don't have any funny background noise going on.
There you go.
Hey, Hybrid Pisces. Hi, Code of Many Colors.
Oh my gosh, there's so many people here.
So many familiar faces. Hi, hey, Danette. Hi, Audra. Hi, Tammy George. I think True Helper's down there. Hey, True Helper.
Yay.
Cutter, I'm sorry that you're stressing out. Hey, every day is Sunday. It is a very stressful time for all of us, isn't it? It is probably one of the most stressful things I have ever been through. And I think most of us have ever been through because we've never lived through anything like this.
No, I don't think anybody, within reason, there's not too many people on this earth right now that have, and if they did, they can't remember it.
Right. You know, we had a lot of our grandparents and great-grandparents who lived through the Great Depression that was followed by the Spanish flu, or that came after the Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm.
But we have never experienced anything like this in our lifetime. So I think it's important that we all just try to lift each other up.
Definitely.
Hey, Amy Ranger.
Everybody's saying hi to me. Hi back. I just see it going and I'm like, I don't want to ignore them.
This is an interesting live, actually, because it's an interesting live because it's actually going live to our Facebook page too. So if you are a YouTube sub and you want to give our Facebook page a like and follow, that would be awesome. We'd greatly appreciate that. I think somebody up here asked how I'm doing. Coat of Many Colors. How are you, Danielle? I'm actually doing good. I had a lot of craziness going on for a while. At one point, I was working first shift and third shift, and it about killed me. I am now laid off as of Friday, so that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, as my mom would say, and it's all good. It is all good. Yeah, Sandy Jersey girl, I agree. The fear of the unknown has everyone a little unsettled.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's
cool. You're on Facebook, Amy Ranger. That's awesome.
And
it's really neat. This is the first time I've ever did a dual stream.
Danielle, I can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me,
Okay,
Amy?
now I can. Now I can. Yeah. Now I can. Yay.
Okay. Um, I did not. So I was not working in a hospital that closed, but I did work. I do work. I'm laid off until June 1st at this moment. I do work for a hospital that, I mean, we had significant cuts because of outpatient. There's no outpatient testing. There's no outpatient surgeries. We closed one of our floors down to make it a COVID unit, so it has now been converted to COVID. So, um, with that being said, I was doing COVID screening stations at the hospital until I was exposed. Um, Thankfully, I did not get sick. I'm good. Thank you, God. Um, and I kind of just backed out then and said I was doing that to supplement hours that I was losing. So, um, here we are today. I have more time for this.
Yeah,
I'm
and that.
excited. I'm excited to be able to do this more and have free time and making the best of the situation. So
That's
here
right.
we are tonight.
And that's part of the reason we haven't been around for a while, because it's just kind of adjusting to all the newness of having kids at home and Danielle's job situation and just a million things up in the air. So we're sorry, but we're glad to be
Yeah,
back.
we were always thinking of you guys though, and always wanting to come on here. It just, you know, time and like Amy said, all the newness everybody's dealing with, homeschooling children and
Yeah.
trying to, there's a lot of people dealing with unemployment right now, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
stressful and all of the above, on top of the fear that you feel and all the different things that our governors are doing across the nation. Thank you, Glowing Ember. I I would have had no problem continuing to do those COVID screening stations had I had the proper equipment. But at the end of the day, I didn't have the proper equipment and I have 2 little boys who need me. So I had to make a choice, and that was the choice I made. I chose my health and my family.
Yeah. But that's very difficult.
It is. It is a difficult decision to make for sure because, you wanna be out there and you wanna help, and that's part of who I am
We didn't
is
get scared of you, true helper. I don't get scared.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. You're funny, funny, funny.
I think Car Guy 72 down there is sharing the arrest affidavit. We are going to get into the nitty-gritty here in just a couple minutes. We're just waiting for people to join and seeing how this dual stream is going on, and kinda wanted to chat with you guys for a little bit before we got started. What do you guys wanna talk about? Me and Amy have some things on our mind and things that we wanna discuss, but we thought we would ask you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yvette.
And for you guys that message us, there like one person in particular that I can think of off the top of my head, if I'm missing somebody else or whatever. I know Darwin was worried that something happened to us, and that was very kind of you. So
Yes,
yeah,
it was kind of you. I've gotten several messages. If I haven't responded, please know that I have seen them and I appreciate it. I just I've had chaos.
yeah,
Up until Friday, I had mass chaos. I didn't know if I was coming or going. So, yeah, that's where we're at today. Hey, Gina. We missed you guys too. Aw, Susie, I'm glad that your test came back negative. I have
yay,
a couple people that I know, I'm not gonna say who, that are sick, so just praying that they get better and get through this.
yeah. Is what is that?
I think that would be a dog. Any
That
noises
has
you guys
Caesar
ever
here.
hear in the background, that would be my dog getting into trouble. So
I was just thinking, I'm like, those aren't my kids. Like, 'cause for a minute I panicked. I was like, no, they've broken the
yeah, that's
barrier.
definitely my dog misbehaving. This is what I deal with. I have a zoo, you guys, with kids. It comes equipped with kids. So,
Sharma Lily, which documents are you talking about? Are you talking about the affidavit? Or are you talking about?
oh, I'm so sorry, Kelly girl. Husky gymnastics, yes. Amanda, oh my gosh.
Going Ember, I think they're working very hard, but I think it's a little ways away for the immunization, and it's just hard. We, like Danielle mentioned before, we're all getting mixed messages about what's safe and what isn't, and I mean, it's I think you have to do what's best for you
Yeah, absolutely.
to get through it.
Tammy George, no, I did not have any symptoms. I was not tested either. Today is the 14th day since I was exposed, so I think I'm in the clear. Um,
Yay.
so let's get to it, I guess.
Okay. What did we decide we were going to
Let's
start with?
Yeah, did anybody offer any suggestions down in the comments of what they wanted to
Mm-mm.
start with?
No. What do you
All
guys want to
right.
talk about? Is there something particular in the affidavit you wanted to discuss? We can go through a timeline. I mean, we have several options here. We're kind of doing this impromptu tonight because we missed you and we need to get back in the habit. And so we do have some things planned for probably what, Danielle, later on this week, maybe.
Yeah, probably like every day this week, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I'm gonna do a couple lives on the Casey Jones case. I don't know if any of you are following that. It's kind of off topic for a moment, but I did receive the autopsy results last night, very late on all the victims in that case. So I'm gonna go over a couple things on that case. And I have nothing but time these days. So you might get sick of hearing me on here.
Yvette, let's laugh first about Edgardo and
Oh
Quincy.
my gosh. Yes.
We do, it's interesting. Danielle and I were talking one night. We do still talk when we're not on
We
here.
do. We do.
And we were talking about Edgardo,
Mm.
and we kind of found something that it's a little bit interesting, but Letitia's aunt, the one that rented the silver Nissan Altima for her name is Brenda, and her last name is Acquard, like accord, not Ecuardo, but like accord. It's very similar, and it just kind of seems like maybe that's where that name got pulled out of. We were kind of not giggling about it, but like, a
Yeah,
little.
the names sound very similar to each other actually.
They do.
And Amy Ranger, the affidavit for this case, for Gannon's case, I believe the mods are sharing it down in the chat, and it's also in Gannon's Facebook group as well. So yeah, I thought that was interesting too, hybrid Pisces. I thought it was very interesting when um, Amy pointed that out, that those two names sound familiar, because it does seem like Tecia, she gets her information from somewhere. Everything that she says fits to something
Mm-hmm.
else that we know. She's created this picture along the way, and she's created this narrative and this story. And I know I've said it 100 times, I'll say it again. She told us a story the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You had to pick apart her words, pick apart her statements, and the story was there You just have to look for it, and it's very interesting when you start comparing some things.
Very, very. I'm sorry. Glowing Upper says I think it's the name of one of T's sugar daddies.
Could
it
be.
it could
It
be.
could be.
It
Hold
could.
on, I have to mute my mic for 1 second.
Sure, sure. Okay. She pulls lies from her life in some shape or form to make it easier for her to keep track of her lives. Absolutely. And I don't know how to say your name. I'm going to say Chookstead, the Chookstead, or is it the Chooksteed? I don't know. Or C Hookstead. I have no idea. But with the little rooster person, yeah, absolutely. That's how she kept track of her lies. There was a little bit of truth. We've said this over and over. A little bit of truth in everything she said. So, Amanda, it was all a poo narrative. I got it right the first time. It's a Chookstead. Okay, good. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Hi, Sulfur Music. We're glad you're here. So many people that I haven't seen in a while. I missed you guys. So tell us in the comments. Tell us something that you really want to discuss, that you have some good insights on and you want to discuss. Because we're going to kind of leave the floor open. Otherwise, we have two choices. We can either go through the timeline or we can continue on with the affidavit. So it's kind of up to you guys. Let us know in the comments.
Yes, we definitely want to hear what you guys wanna talk about. If not, we have our own thing that we can
Mm.
start into.
Okay, Tracker 3 says, why do you think she shot, bludgeoned, and stabbed him, all three? That's interesting. Joe wants to talk about the timeline.
Okay.
There's something missing here. How to get in and get out of the car when they got back in the video. You really can't see him get off. Yammy J, or however you say it. That's something I'd like to talk about. You know, it doesn't have to be tonight, but at some point. Danielle and I discussed some of that earlier.
Well, I think we can talk about that and then maybe talk about the timeline.
Okay. So
Okay.
basically my question is here's where I stand with that whole thing. Tecia leaves the morning of the 28th, right? She leaves with Gannon in the car around what, 10:19? Is it 10:19? Whatever,
Mhm.
somewhere around a little after 10. And she drives around with them until she gets home at what, 20 after 2, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And then they say that according to the affidavit, they allude to the fact that then she killed him in the house. Tecia was supposed to be at work that day. She called in to work. She didn't have any plans for doing errands and stuff because she called in to work. Gannon was home from school. She drove out to the area they were searching that day. She was in that range. Why did she bring him home to kill him? That doesn't make any sense to me. None.
It doesn't make any sense to me either, and I've said this over and over for the past couple weeks. And I think I even suggested this in a live. You know, she was adamant that Gannon came home with her that day.
Right.
Adamant about it. The neighbor, Roderick Drayton, was adamant that
Wait,
Gannon
wait,
did
wait,
not.
wait, 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 wait. Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Whoever said it was. Forgive me. I'm a little frazzled tonight. I will totally admit it. But to tell me to get my shit straight with dates, it
Wait,
was the
who?
27th. It was. You're right. It was the 27th. So we're talking about the 27th, which
I'm
was
sorry.
Monday.
Where was that said
It's been
at?
deleted now, but it
Okay.
was, if you're going to talk, get your shit straight. So I I
Okay.
I am human and I make mistakes, and that's why I said out loud I'm looking for clarification because yeah, sorry. But
Okay. Um, I had suggested this before in lives. You know, Tisha was adamant that she came home with that Gannon came home with her that day. Adamant. And I had said this in a live. Maybe he did, but not alive because
right.
we don't see him get out of the truck. We also, the neighbor, Roderick Drayton, was adamant that Gannon did not come home with her, he was not seen on video footage. The problem is how do you explain the motion inside the house being picked up by the security system? There was motion in the basement at the same time that there was in the upstairs of the house.
Right. It's I can't make that work in my head though.
Right.
I mean, so if he's so injured at this point and he's carried in, and let's just say he's still alive, right? And he's crawling around, why would you bring him back to the house like that? Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced that the footage that we saw, I'm not convinced that what we saw or who we saw getting in the truck to leave that morning was Gannon. I am
Right.
not convinced of that. Um, I believe even the affidavit says that it's presumed to be Gannon. I don't have the words
It does.
in front of me specifically, so don't crucify me for saying it the wrong way, anybody who's listening, but I don't think that they were able to determine from that footage that that was Gannon getting in the truck.
Right.
Tammy George, it's presumed. If you read the affidavit, yeah, it says likely. It doesn't, I believe they couldn't make out that that was Gannon. So,
Okay, on number 31, it says from the affidavit, it says ultimately, investigators located video surveillance from a neighbor's surveillance camera that showed what investigators believe to be Letitia and an individual that appeared to match Gannon's physical description depart their residence in a Nissan Frontier at or about 10:16 a.m. on January 27th, 2020. And then at
right.
32, it says the video camera is several homes away and does not provide images clear enough to make positive identifications of those captured in the recording. The vehicle returned on or about 2:19, and Letitia exited the vehicle. After viewing the video, I cannot be sure if another person exited the vehicle or not, but I submit Gannon likely did return home with Letitia that afternoon. These times, corroborated by data collected from ADT security system installed in the Stouks residence, are discussed below in more detail. So they're basing that Gannon returned home, from what I understand reading that, and I read it word for word. That's 31 and 32 in the affidavit. It's on page.
Are you there, Amy? Oh, I think we lost Amy. Can you guys still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me. Okay. All right, you can still hear me. I'm gonna Amy join the stream again. I don't know what happened. If you muted, something happened. So it's just me for a minute. We'll wait for Amy to rejoin. Yeah, hybrid Pisces. That's a huge question. If it wasn't Gannon that we saw, um, Amy's back. If it wasn't Gannon that we saw, who was it? Who was it? Okay. Are you there, Amy? I don't hear you. I don't know what's going on with Amy's audio. I'm not sure who it could be that we saw getting in the vehicle if it wasn't Gannon, because law enforcement did confirm that Harley was working. I don't think it was Harley. I really don't, because I think law enforcement was able to verify that Harley was at work. So they were able to corroborate Harley's alibi, essentially. I don't know. I don't know. It's very. Oh, Amy got a phone call that kicked her off. That's what happened. Karen, that's an interesting thought. That is something that has been suggested, but like Manda Texas Girl said, Harley was at work and Lena was at school. So do I still have what footage of Tecia leaving that day? Yes, we still have it. Um it's just oh. Oh, okay. I got you, Gina. Maybe Soul for Music will fill me in. Soul for Music message me so I know what's going on. Um, Amy's coming back, guys. Just 1 second. Okay, Joe. Yeah, Cutter McGee. Harley was working. That was confirmed by law enforcement. That was in the arrest affidavit that her work schedule was confirmed. And I agree with you, Maui girl, that you think T hurt Gannon Sunday when he when they came home, he was lying down, she helped him. And a few minutes later, he went to his bed. T killed him after the girls went to the dollar store. No, I think Gannon was dead before Lena got home. But I do believe that she hurt him on Sunday night. I do believe that she hurt him on Sunday night. I think where Gannon's dad was upset was that the footage showed Tecia leaving and coming back without Gannon. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of confusion. There really is. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of misinformation put out. Amy's back, so we'll add her back in here. There's been a lot of misinformation put out over the last couple of weeks of just hearsay, people talking, chatter, which easily happens. Are you there, Amy? I don't know why I can't hear you. It's really weird. She's still not talking, Tammy. Amy, I'm going to send you a new link because I don't know if your link went bad or what's going on, but I cannot hear you. I should probably just do my normal disclaimer. I apologize for any background noise. You're going to hear 2 kids. You're going to hear 2 huskies, all of the above. So ignore any background noise that you guys hear. Let me send Amy this link really quick. And we'll get her back on here. Chloe and Ember, you think he was hurt and put in the truck bed so he wouldn't bleed inside the truck. She pulled him out through garage door and finished him off in his room. Okay, Amy is back again. Still can't hear her. It's weird. Hey, Shannon, SA Gen X, SAE Gen X. It's good to have you here. But still, so if he was that hurt, there was no blood found inside of the truck. And how do you explain the movement in the house that was upstairs and downstairs at the same time on the security system? Does anybody have a way of how that could be? Well, is it Cherie? Am I saying it right? Or Sherry? I'm not sure how to say that. They did say that that there's other footage that we haven't seen. Some of that footage I believe that we haven't seen is her backing. Amy's back and we have sound. Some of
Yay!
that footage I believe is is footage of Letitia backing her Tiguan. Tiguan? How do you say that, Amy?
Tiguan.
Tiguan? Okay, backing her
Mhm.
Tiguan into the garage because that was backed into the garage when police arrived at the home that night. That's true, Becca. You could run around your whole house in the same minute. That's true. But I think what they're saying is that that movement that was upstairs and downstairs was at the exact same time, wasn't it?
That's what they are alluding to. That was my understanding.
Yeah, glowing ember. I think you're joking. I don't think Eduardo was down there. I don't. Uh,
You know, I'm not to, not to, yeah, I don't think a Gordo was down there either, but I will say the back door opening and closing 10 times lends me to open the door to a possibility somebody else was there, but I really don't think there was. I just don't.
yeah, I don't think she drug him with the long rope. So, Amy, you can.
Sorry.
So, I'm sorry. You can get back to what you were saying. You were like on number 31, and then your audio was gone. So,
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying this came. Oh, did it go on 31 or did I get to 32 where it talks about?
I don't remember. That was like 10 minutes ago. So,
I know it was like 10 shenanigans ago.
you know my memory.
Right. Well, if you look on page 5 of the affidavit, number 31 and 32, um, they talk about how 32, I'll just read it again, says the video camera is several homes away and does not provide images clear enough to make positive identifications of those captured in the recording. The vehicle returned at or about 2:19 and Letitia exited the vehicle. After viewing the video, I cannot be sure if another person exited the vehicle or not, but I submit Gannon likely did return home with Letitia that afternoon. These times corroborated by data collected from ADT security system installed in the Stouks residence are discussed below in more detail. So they are basing Gannon returning home by the motion reports on the
Mhm.
ADT security, and they specifically say in 31 investigators located video surveillance, blah, 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 showed what investigators believe to be Letitia and an individual that appeared to match Gannon's physical description depart the residence of the Nissan Frontier on or about 10:16 on January 27th, 2020. So there you go. There's no absolute positive identification of either one of them. And they are saying that Gannon likely did return based on data collected from ADT security system. But that's motion. That report, when it says discussed below, if you flip to the ADT section, it's motion. It's not video or anything like that. So
That's true. And Wendy Johnson made a good point that the neighbor said that he could hear T talking to the children, though it was only 2 doors away from each other. And that was on Sunday. And the neighbor even further went to say that didn't he make a statement that he could hear Tecia walking into the garage and she was by herself?
He could hear one set of he could hear the garage, he could hear her walking through the garage, and he could hear her disarm the alarm system.
Mhm.
But he didn't hear anything else, and it was different because on the um I believe it was on the 27th, the day they went to Garden of the Gods, he said you could hear her saying like, Gannon, you get on this side. No, Lena, you get on this side. You know,
Right.
when they were packing up to go. So it was just different.
Maui Girl made a great point. Maybe law enforcement needed more time to prove that he did or didn't come home with her at the time of the arrest
Yes.
affidavit. That is a
Yes.
great point. That is a great point.
Yeah.
Um, Great point.
Yeah. So yeah, tracker 3, he heard her lock the truck behind her. Yeah, he heard a lot of details that created a narrative for, however long it took her to get into the house. And there didn't appear to be two people. So yeah. And yeah, Jeanette's right. This is true. It has a lot to do with the developments since her arrest. So yeah, when we see the the discovery come in, some other things like that, I expect that we will see some of this shift.
Mhm.
And there will
Yeah.
be
Yeah, the arrest affidavit is only up until February 28th. It only goes up till February 28th. Gannon was not found until March 17th. Tecia was arrested on March 2nd. So a lot happened from February 29th, because we had a leap year this year, till March 17th. And then March 19th is another important date because that's the date that it was announced to the public that Gannon was found and that it was confirmed that it was him, et cetera, et cetera. That's a huge span of time. You're talking
it
about
is.
over 2 weeks. Over 2 weeks, 18 days, 18 to 19 days. Um,
And she was still very, very busy creating her own.
she was in jail at that point because she was arrested on March 2nd.
No, I mean I'm sorry. I mean between the time the arrest, between blah blah blah, between the time that this ends and the time she's arrested, she's still weaving her
Right,
webs and doing things that we're not completely sure about.
right, right. So, Maui Girl, what documents will most likely be released next? Well,
All
they unsealed the digital data, didn't they?
yes.
Specifically text messages. So we should look. Well, we're looking
Mm-hmm.
for those, for any text messages or any type of digital data. Hey, Irish.
Hello.
Any type of digital stuff, and I believe that refers to any text messages, phone calls, recordings, etc. So we're
Mm-hmm.
looking for that to come out. Susie Boone, I do not believe. A lot of people say that. I don't think this is going to turn into Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony is a totally different case. They didn't have blood evidence throughout
Mm-mm.
an entire house and a garage and vehicles for Casey Anthony. Um, I don't see it turning into a Casey Anthony. I won't even think like that, actually, because I can't believe that in my heart that that would ever happen again in this
I
country. I
I
have
hope
to
to
believe
God.
that I have to believe in my heart that Tecia will be fully prosecuted for this. And I think the case is a lot stronger here, um, when it comes to Gannon being murdered and Tecia being the accused. Hey, Jason, I think the case is a lot stronger. You know, when Casey Anthony and the Kaylee Anthony case happened, that was a different era that we lived in.
Right.
We didn't have the Facebook activity that we have today. We didn't have all the social media activity that we have today. We didn't
Well,
have
it was the
face
first it was the first social media trial, but not at the level that you have here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You didn't
Yeah.
even okay, so you didn't back then, you didn't have the options in Facebook Messenger to call people so
Right.
that they could record your phone conversations.
Right.
You didn't have a lot of the things that have happened in this case. I mean,
Right.
that happened back what was that? That was like 11 years ago.
She'd be 14 now, so like yeah, 11. Yeah, 11.
I
She
was pregnant. That's how I remember it. I was
yeah.
pregnant with my son, my youngest son, who was the same age as Gannon. I was pregnant with him when Kaylee Anthony went missing, or Casey Anthony went missing, and I can
No,
remember.
Kaylee. You were right the first time.
Oh God, did I say it wrong? Okay, well
It's okay.
you guys know what I mean. I can remember my ex-husband getting very crabby because he did not like Nancy Grace, and I would come home after work and I watched it. She was the only person who covered that case 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it from the beginning to the end. And I
Remember
can
they had
still
all those mock juries and stuff at night. They'd have like
Mhm.
specials and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I can still remember where I was and what I was doing the day that Casey's not guilty verdict came back. So anyways, I think that while the cases are comparable, they're very, very different too. They're
Mm-hmm.
very different.
They are. The Casey and Letitia have similar
Danette, you're
personalities
funny.
though.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely different. Some completely.
Yes. Casey's not guilty verdict was absolutely shocking and heartbreaking and everything else. Yeah. So big deal. Big
Mhm.
deal.
It
Yep.
was. It was. So, um, Tisha does deflect, but Tisha also she's created this story, and she has created the story around. She has like a rebuttal.
I'm sorry.
Tisha has a rebuttal for everything in that affidavit. It's mind blowing.
Yes, it is.
It's like she, how she took notes into the interview room. It's like she sat down and wrote what she was going to say for everything that they found.
Well,
So,
she walked into her police interview with note cards.
right, that's what I was saying. I'm sure that she wrote a freaking novel
Yeah.
to try to explain away all her evidence, which is her right. I mean, whatever, Tisha, do your thing, but you're sitting in jail today. So, um,
They would be insane to put that woman up on the stand. I'll tell you that. Absolutely insane.
they would be insane, but I do agree with Irish. I hope they do put her on the
Oh,
stand.
I hope they do
I
too.
hope she perjures the F out of herself
Yep.
up there and just talks in circles and
Tisha Tissues is her shell name.
oh, I'll have to check out that case, the Carly Goose case. I'm gonna write it down since I have all this free time on my hands. I don't even want to tell you guys how many different um shows I have watched complete series of in the last
Jason, what's up with Tisha stuffing tissue in her pants? We believe she was preserving or she was basically taking back her DNA. Those tissues she believed had her DNA on them. They knew that they were probably going to take them. She made a point on camera to say she didn't get anything to eat or drink, and the police say we provided food and beverages. I'm sure she didn't partake because she didn't want to leave any DNA. Um, I mean, she even escaped that at the hospital, right? So,
Mhm. So I guess we could move on to the timeline if you'd like.
sure.
I have to mute my mic for just 1 second, but we'll go ahead and go through the timeline, everybody. We created a timeline in our Facebook group. Actually, Amy and I didn't do it. Sienna did it because she is amazing.
She is.
It is a great timeline. Sienna invested a lot of time and work into it. So thank you, Sienna. We appreciate you. There is a great team that is standing behind Amy and I. We all
Definitely.
play our own roles and do our own thing, but we make a great team.
Wait, Audra, oh, you're saying it was redacted. I don't understand. What are you?
Well, she asked about her defense position for a hearing. She was alleging violations of court orders based on statements
Oh,
being made about Gannon in the
yeah,
suitcase.
that's right. Yeah. Well, they're going to try. I mean, you guys have to understand that her team is going to try to fight anything to get
Mhm.
the goal of. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's just reiterating the goal of defense is to get her off. And if they can get a mistrial, if they can get evidence excluded, if they any of those things, they're going to go for it. So you're going to see a lot of that.
Mhm. Okay. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic for 1 second and we
Okay.
can go over that timeline.
Yeah. Sienna is amazing. She put a lot of work into this, so I'm excited to go through it. So they will try anything as much as they can get thrown out. And then you got to remember that they've got to find a jury that supposedly hasn't heard anything about this before. Yes, she was setting up for that, saying they wouldn't let her go to the bathroom, etc. Yes, she was trying to get ahead of the game there. Makes perfect sense. She's, we've said it again and again. People talk about how when she expresses herself verbally, that she doesn't sound very intelligent, but she's got a very calculating mind. And she's even kind of said it herself in certain instances that she was just trying to stay one step ahead. Tammy George, I haven't heard. I see what Landon posts on Facebook sometimes. Um, a song will remind her, this, that, and the other thing. But, maybe Danielle could share more. My kind of stance with that is I don't really look into that too much because I just feel like they deserve their privacy. This has got to be a lot. I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. Ah, glowing ember.
Okay, what should I look into?
They were asking if we knew how Gannon's parents were doing, and I said, Landon will post some things on Facebook. Al has said he's very private and he's not going to talk. But I haven't looked into it anymore because I just feel like they deserve their privacy.
Right.
That this is just a very unimaginable thing, and you know, um, I just want a fair trial and
Mhm.
some closure. So
Yeah, I can't, I won't throw any public judgment at Landon or Al. I've seen a lot of it lately in the past couple weeks,
yeah,
and I don't think I don't know. I guess everybody has a right to their opinion, but I think there needs to be some compassion.
I think
I've
it's
seen
very distasteful, to be honest. And
it is.
until something comes up, and it comes up officially, and I don't expect it to. I'm just saying, unless
Mhm.
something came across where it was like, oh, this and this and this happened, and this could have led up to it. They are victims right now.
They are, and if if onlookers could stop for a second and just look at the fact that Letitia was able to manipulate multiple school
Mm-hmm.
systems. Those are federal. I mean, federal and state,
Mm-hmm.
She was able to manipulate that. She was able to have an online sugar daddy account that she kept active since, what was it, 2006?
Something like that, yeah.
And it was still active in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine the manipulation that she threw on her husband and on Landon. And I know how I don't even know if I should say this. I probably shouldn't say it. I'll spell it. I think what you have here when it comes to Al and Tecia is that he was PUSSY whipped. I think she was very manipulative and had him wrapped around her finger.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's our place to judge on that because at the end of the day, doesn't everybody think that Al's beating himself up enough?
Right.
He has to live with this.
Right. And up until I can't, I'm looking for the exact date, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but she does in this affidavit. There is searches for, um, finding a rich military husband or finding a rich guy that has kids I can take care of or whatever. She's still had her little schemes going on. Well, she's a scheming, manipulative, calculating person, and all she thinks about is herself.
Right. I agree. And I just I I feel like the scrutiny against Al, we all parent differently.
Mm-hmm.
We all parent differently. Everybody has their own way of parenting. Everybody has their own way of punishment. It's not one person's job to judge the next. That's not what we're here for on this earth. That's not our.
Right.
Al and Landon are victims,
They are.
and Al has to forever live with the fact that he left that weekend and he left his son in the care of a woman that he trusted and in the care of a woman who manipulated him. And I'm sure hindsight's 2020 for anybody, for
Right.
everybody. So I'm sure it's loud and clear in Al's face, hindsight, looking back. And I think that that's something that he's going to hold on to the rest of his life. And I think that is very sad. It's
It's
very sad. And I don't think that he deserves scrutiny for anything
no.
publicly. I don't think people should be slandering him. I'm like Ann Mata said, I'm sure he beats himself up enough.
I'm sure he does. And in my opinion, until I hear differently, they're victims, and I won't.
Right.
I just
Right.
won't go down that road.
Yeah, I
It's
won't either. They
distasteful.
are
Yeah.
they are victims. At the end of the day, one person is accused of killing this child. I mean, you can say what you want, whatever. Al and Landon love their son. They love Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind over that. You can see that love
Yeah.
in their press conferences and the words that they've said. Are any of us perfect parents? Because I'm pretty sure that none of us are.
I'm not. I struggle all the time.
We all struggle. We all struggle, and we've all made mistakes in parenting. And I just think there needs to be some slack cut when it comes to people judging,
Right.
especially the parents of a murdered child.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's such a simple thing to say, but one of the things that has struck me is the way that Al would check in with his son during the day via text when he's out of town. He, just taking that 2 seconds, like, hey, buddy, like
Mhm.
just little things like that. And when you see the texts that go back between Landon and her kids, she says, what is that one text message? Like it's 11:11, make a wish.
Right.
That gets me. That breaks my heart every time I see that.
Yes. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. And um I personally know that Landon was trying to keep the children in South Carolina with her on January 7th. I'm not going to go into those details. I know what was shared with me, and I think it's very sad. I think it's very, very sad because I know Landon loved her kids. She
Mm-hmm.
loves her kids, and um, I know that Al was on board with the children staying in South Carolina with her. So,
Right. And if you, I, I can't imagine at this level, but if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody where you find out something they did and you never in your wildest imagination would have thought they were capable of it, that's where Al is, I'm
mhm,
sure.
mhm.
So, yeah.
So we will move on to the timeline and just kind of go through the timeline of events. Let me pull it up. I'll start with it. Do you have it in front of you yet, Amy?
I do, but I am going to have to go look at it online because
Okay.
with our watermark, it didn't. There's things that I can't read
Okay.
because I'm blind.
So so we'll start with I don't want to hear that name, Cray Cray. Let's keep that name out of my chat. Thank you. Um, let's start with January 25th. Letitia's search history was looking for jobs outside of Colorado and looking for apartments in other states. That went from January 25th to January 28th.
Right.
If you back up to January 22nd, Letitia started orientation at Mountain Ridge Middle School, meeting with teachers and admins. On January 24th, per the district spokesperson, Allison Cortez, Academy District 20, rescinded her employment offer after finding inconsistencies in her employment application. Letitia was fired from the job at Mountain Ridge Middle School. On January 24th, which was the Friday before Gannon went missing. I'm going to stop for a minute. Okay, Shannon's got that under control down there. Thanks, Shannon.
Hmm.
You're welcome to discuss that. I just don't want to see that name. Um, on January 25th, 2020, which was a Saturday, Al Stouck's mother left after visiting the family, flying a late flight out of Colorado Springs. Al spent the night in the airport on January. What?
Can I just ask you something right there?
Uh
Isn't
huh.
the Colorado Springs airport like 10 minutes from their house?
But if you go back to the affidavit, Al spent the night in Denver.
Right. That's where I get confused. So I don't know. That's just weird to me. But anyway, go ahead.
It's weird to me too. I don't understand why he chose to stay at the airport that night. I I have some ideas, some hypotheses on that,
I'd like
but
to I'd like to hear them.
I mean, I don't know, maybe he was having an affair. I don't know.
Mm,
That's one thought in my head, but again, it was listed in the arrest affidavit, so I have to believe that law enforcement verified that Al was at the airport.
Right.
I don't know who was there with him, but you have to look at all things all things that could lead to motive, and we'll get further into that as we go through the timeline when you look at Letitia's searches.
Right.
So Al spent the night at the airport in Denver on January 25th. On January 26th, which was a Sunday, Al departed the airport. He flew to Texas, then to Oklahoma via commercial airline. Letitia reportedly took Gannon and Lena to Garden of the Gods and to Burger King. Letitia's sugar daddy account was accessed that day.
Of course it was.
Yeah. On 1/27/2020 at 12:09 a.m. So this is Monday morning at 12:09 a.m. Letitia searched, "My son burnt the carpet. How do I fix it?" At 12:42 a.m., Letitia searched, "Will humidifier help if exposed to smoke?" At 12:55 a.m., Letitia searched, "Colorado law for kid stating," but it was supposed to be staying at home. At 12:57 a.m., Letitia searched, "School is out. Is it okay for my kid to stay home alone?" At 1:01 a.m., Letitia searched, "Son is sick, but I have to go to work." At 1:03 a.m., Letitia searched, "Son is sick. Can he stay home?" At 4:37 a.m., she didn't get much sleep that night.
Mm-mm.
Letitia texted her employer that her stepdad was killed and she would not be able to come to work. At 4:40 a.m., Letitia searched, "suede repair kit for sofa." So these searches are interesting because you have to then go back to the 26th when she accessed her sugar daddy account. So
Mm-hmm.
after her husband flies out of Colorado, he's gone. She knows he's away at training. She accesses her sugar daddy account, and then she's doing searches such as, "What are the Colorado laws for a child staying at home alone? My kid is sick. Can he stay home alone? School is out. Is it okay for my kid to stay home alone?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Son is sick, but I have to go to work." She knew she didn't have to go to work because she knew that she was fired on Friday the 24th. So why she searched that, I don't know. Um, and then to go as far as texting her employer that she knew she was already terminated from, she texted her employer and gave them an excuse that she couldn't come to work because her stepdad was killed and she wouldn't be able to make it. Except her stepdad was killed like 16 years prior to this date, um, in an accident walking alongside of the road. Well, Maui girl, per her employer's statement, the school district said on January 24th, they said Academy District 20 rescinded her employment offer after finding inconsistencies in her employment application. Letitia was fired from the job at Mountain Ridge Middle School. I would have to imagine that the employer contacted her on that Friday, the 24th, and said, "Hey, we're rescinding your job offer." There's
Mm-hmm.
no reason that they would not have contacted her.
And
None.
there's and in a case like that, there would be no reason why they wouldn't leave a voicemail saying that as well,
Right.
or send an email or whatever it is. I mean, it's
Right.
just it is what it is.
Right. So at 7:02 a.m., that was the time scheduled for Lena's bus pickup. It's unknown if she rode the bus. Something to know is that Gannon stayed home from school. Videos and photographs on Letitia's phone possibly indicate he was alive that morning. Lena went to school, but we don't know how she was transported or what time she arrived. And there are the photos that Tecia took of Gannon laying in bed that morning. Um, At 8:13 and 8:17 a.m., Letitia took the photographs of Gannon sleeping in bed. Why do you guys think she took those photos?
Prove he was alive, to say I caught him with the switch, or to make herself look good, like, look at this little baby sleeping in the bed. I don't know. I don't know how her mind works, but I don't think there was anything good about it.
Was he actually sleeping?
No, I think he was probably, I don't know. I don't know. My mind bounces back and forth on this.
I know. I know. Um,
I want to
8:38. Oh, go ahead.
I want to know what time Lena got to school.
I'd like
That's
to know too.
that would help me.
I'd like to know too. At 8:30 a.m., Harley was at work, and that was verified by El Paso County Sheriff's Office. At 9:56 a.m., Letitia's phone is locked and presumed to be left at home. 10:12 a.m., ADT security shows no activity in the Stout home. 10:16 a.m., Letitia and an individual believed to be Gannon left the residence in the Nissan Frontier. 10:37 a.m., Letitia sent message from Gannon's phone to Harley's phone to text Tecia on Gannon's phone. I thought she sent that to Al, but 11:22 a.m., Letitia completed purchases at Petco located at 5020 North Nevada Avenue, Colorado Springs. Gannon was not with her in the store. 12:06 p.m., Al sent a message to Gannon's cell phone that says, "Hey, buddy." At 1:21 p.m., Gannon's phone messaged back to Al asking to play Zelda. This is interesting to me right here. So at 1:21, Gannon's phone messages Al asking to play Zelda. But at 1:22, Letitia made a second purchase at Petco on North Nevada. North Nevada. Note this timestamp is exactly 2 hours from the first purchase. Gannon was not with her in the store. I would be very, very, very curious to see the footage inside the store to see if Letitia had a cell phone in her hand.
Yes.
At 1:43 p.m., a search on Gannon's phone. Can my parent find my cell phone? Period, if it's off. Format is similar to searches on Letitia's phone, where she often adds a period in her words. And it's presumed that Letitia made this search, and that is listed in the arrest affidavit. At 2:19 p.m., the Nissan Frontier returned and Letitia exits the vehicle. Investigators believe Gannon returned with her. At 2:22 p.m., the ADT security shows entry into the home. At 2:30 p.m., according to El Paso County Sheriff's Office interview, Letitia states that she entered the home, disarmed security, and Eduardo attacked her. He allowed her to greet Lena and send her outside to play. Eduardo vaginally penetrated from 2:30 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. She states that she blacked out. Gannon tried to fight Eduardo. Letitia gave Eduardo a brown suitcase.
And a cardboard box.
Mm-hmm. From 2:30, from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m., the ADT log shows the back door at the residence opened and closed 10 times. So, according to Letitia's story, she was raped for 2 hours, but during this time, Someone was coming and going out that back door of that house. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It must have been a pretty peaceful rape.
Yuck.
Yeah. At 2:45 p.m., Letitia unlocked her phone. That was 15 minutes after she returned home and while she was being raped, according to her. Because remember, she says that she entered the home and is upon entering the home at 2:30, she was attacked by a guardo who raped her for 2 hours. But in the middle of that rape, 15 minutes after she gets home, she's able to unlock her phone. At 3:11 p.m., a video shows Lena returned home from school. At 3:15 p.m., that's the time that Letitia claims Gannon went to play with friends. From 3:30 p.m. to 3:42 p.m., video from the neighborhood shows Lena on her bike. At 3:55 p.m., Al sent another message to Gannon. Hey, buddy. Okay. So here we have it 3:41, 3:41, 3:43, 3:44, 3:45, 4:11, 4:19, and 4:20 p.m. There are text messages exchanged between Letitia, Harley, and Al. At 4:15, Harley got off work, and that was verified by El Paso County Sheriff's Office. At 4:42 p.m., Harley arrived at the residence and picked up Lena in her white VW Jetta. At 4:52 p.m., Letitia sent a message to Harley with a shopping list, carpet cleaner, trash bags, and baking soda. At 5:14 p.m., the dollar store receipt for the trash bags, baking soda, vinegar, and carpet cleaner, baby oil, baby lotion, cotton rounds, and bubble gum. That was later found in the Tiguan.
Which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because Harley bought it and it was in her VW Jetta. That is weird. At 6:54 p.m., there's a huge gap in time there. So from 5:14 p.m. to 6:54 p.m., we don't know what happened. At 6:54 p.m., Letitia searched El Paso Sheriff's Office number. At 6:55 p.m., Letitia reported Gannon missing to 911, was instructed to call the non-emergent line, unknown if she called that line. At 7:04 p.m., Al's message on Gannon's phone was open, but there was no reply. Note, media outlets reported that Al was in Oklahoma but was texting neighbors trying to locate Gannon. He asked one of those neighbors to call the police. That was reported over and over again. At 7:32 p.m., Gannon Stout was entered into the state and national databases as an active runaway. So here's another over an hour gap in time. At 10:45 p.m., unknown neighbor contacts El Paso County Sheriff's Office about missing child after speaking with Al. I'm sorry, that was at 8:45 p.m.
Right.
At 10:09 p.m., El Paso County Sheriff's Office patrol officers responded to the Stout residence. So that initial phone call was made just before 7 p.m. and it was a little after 10 p.m. when law enforcement showed up at the home. Again, at 2200, body cam video of Gannon's room when compared to pictures from Letitia's phone. The bed was moved, blanket and pillowcases are different compared to the pictures that Letitia took that morning at 8 in the morning. By 10 o'clock that night, when they reviewed the body cam footage, things were different inside of Gannon's room. So that's a lot of activity just on the 27th.
Yeah. Do you want me to take the next day or?
Yeah, if you're ready to, yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So we're now on 1/28/2020. And it starts with note. Landon Hyatt arrived in Colorado from South Carolina that day. At 4:15 a.m., Letitia searched, what is the process for our runaway child? At 4:16, Letitia searched, police steps for our missing child. 4:36 a.m., Letitia searched, today's flights OKC to COS, so Oklahoma City, Colorado Springs. 5:14 to 5:26 a.m., conversation with Stephanie, Gannon's babysitter, regarding Gannon being missing. At 8:30 a.m., Tiguan parked at airport. Letitia rented car, white Kia Rio from Avis Rent-A-Car until January 29th. Al returned to Colorado Springs via commercial airline. Letitia leaves her Tiguan in short-term parking at the airport. So she picks him up at the airport in the rental car and leaves her car in the short-term parking at the airport. At 8:48 a.m., Letitia texted Harley to pull your car in the garage. At 8:50 a.m., Letitia picks up Alan rental car and drives back to the residence, lies to him about the location of the Tiguan. Hold on just 1 second.
Okay,
I'm
and
sorry. I'm right here.
okay,
Chris was talking to me. He came out here and
that's
forgot I
fine.
was doing what I was doing.
That's fine.
Okay. At 8:50 a.m., Letitia picks up Alan rental car, drives back to residence, and lies to him about location of the Tiguan. At 11 a.m., EPSO makes social media release with missing child information. At 12:29 p.m., EPSO investigations assumes the case. At 12:30 p.m., EPSO patrol canvasses the neighborhood. So, note, Al gave consent for initial search of house. Blood was found throughout the house with visible blood in Gannon's room, in the garage, and in other parts of the house. Carpet and carpet pad from under Gannon's bed, consistent with the position of the head and torso, were removed. Blood had soaked through the mattress to the floor below. A pair of Letitia's Nike shoes were seized, and Gannon's blood was found on the exterior of the shoes. Blood was found in Gannon's bedroom, in the hallway from his bedroom to the utility room, the staircase landing leading upstairs, the path from the garage to the stairs, and in the garage. At 12:57 p.m., Letitia searched on her phone, can Nintendo find my Switch? At 3:17, media release, EPSO Major Crimes Unit assuming case. At 4:17, investigators asked Letitia for Gannon's toothbrush to recover his DNA. At 4:18, Letitia searched Carnet Volkswagen. At 4:19, Letitia searched, they are asking for our son's toothbrush but said nothing is wrong. At 4:31, Letitia texted Al, something isn't right. I think they are hiding something, and told him they asked for toothbrushes. Note, affidavit states that she disconnected her phone from the cellular network for approximately 4 hours, intending to prevent disclosure of her location. At 7 p.m., Tiguan is removed from airport parking lot. Letitia is believed to have used the Tiguan to dump Gannon's remains. Where is the Kia Rio? Let's see. From 10:08 to 10:18, Tiguan is at King Soopers parking lot. From 11:15 to I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I messed up. So that was 8:08 to 8:18, and then from 9:15 to 9:30, Tiguan is in the area of 105 South Perry Park Road. From 8:30 to 10:20, per data from the Tiguan CarNet, the vehicle traveled northwest of Colorado Springs, north of the USAF Academy, and into southern Douglas County. During the same time period, Harley's phone is at the residence. The Tiguan was in the area of 105 South Perry Park Road. At 10:26, Harley goes to the area of Powers and Carefree and picks up Letitia. Where does she leave the Tiguan overnight, and where is the Kia Rio? At 10:45, Letitia texted investigators, "What do you want from me? Because I have nothing. One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. I did nothing. Or am I being set up?" And then we're on to 1/29/2020. Note: investigators removed carpet from the utility room, but unable to develop DNA profile. Multiple carpet brushes were located in the dishwasher. At 7 a.m., Letitia returned the rented Kia and was picked up by someone driving Harley's white VW Jetta. It is believed that Harley drove the Jetta based on her cell phone records. At 11:30 a.m., black SUV believed to belong to Letitia was seen on video at a car wash at East Platte Avenue and I don't know how you say that. I think it's Bonfoy, but I'm not sure. Bonfoy Avenue in Colorado Springs. At 12 or at noon, Letitia arrived at EPSO for interview in Colorado Springs. Her vehicle was wet and appeared to be recently cleaned. Letitia had notes for her interview. Letitia said that she was raped on January 27th. In her interview with EPSO, Letitia claims that she met Eduardo in the neighborhood at a construction site and he agreed to repair the carpet burn. She gave him the garage code and they agreed he would repair the carpet while she was shopping the next day. But wait, didn't she have to work the next day? She stated that Gannon was abducted by the rapist, Eduardo, and after the interview, Letitia's Tiguan was seized by EPSO. Her phone was seized. At the end of the interview, Letitia had chest pains and shortness of breath and was transported by paramedics. A DNA sample is obtained with a warrant. Letitia refused a sane exam. Letitia signed herself out AMA and left the hospital without the investigators' knowledge. She was picked up by an unknown person and then by Harley several miles away from the hospital.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Of course, that's a lot.
So, Tisha called into work on the 27th, right?
Right.
Saying that her stepdad was dead, but there's no mention of her calling into work any other day.
No.
But on the 27th. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Right. And apparently, she told Eduardo that she would be shopping the next day.
Oh, so that's okay.
Yeah. And she's also it's weird. She kind of messed up there a little bit too because I mean with that, but in setting up the whole rape thing, she actually I can't see the comments, so I don't know what you're laughing at.
Shannon said, just just got raped. Washed my car though.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, for real. Yeah, so she kind of screws up by saying, I told, Eduardo I'd be shopping, but she does set it up for him to be in the home waiting for her because she gives a man that she doesn't know the garage code to access the house.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and she's going to let him in and he's just going to know exactly where to go and what to fix and
well, and everybody goes driving around their subdivision at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night and they find some random guy working on a house in the middle of the night on a
right.
Sunday night, right?
Right. Because
That seems legit.
There's no code enforcement or anything like that says you have to quit at 7 p.m. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you even imagine investigators' faces when they heard this?
No.
I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face.
No. It's just so much of this it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. It's complete bullshit. You'd want to just sit in the room with your arms crossed and yell bullshit.
Right. Right.
I mean, really. You just try again. Try again. Oh my gosh, Yvette, I hope that this interview is released because I can't wait to see it either. It's sad because it's true that it's got to look like a comedy show. I mean, between panic attacks and tissue stuffing and this, it's just insane. Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
I had to
that's okay.
talk to a child.
Oh, that's all right. At 11:20, per the rental car receipt, the white Kia Rio was returned to the Colorado Springs airport. Letitia was seen dropping the vehicle off at 9 a.m. Let's see, January 30th. Media is monitoring the Stout home and giving updates. The red Nissan truck was in the driveway today. Harley's Jetta was towed from the Marshall's parking lot to evidence impound. According to Letitia, she and Harley were together shopping for clothes and underwear since they were not allowed to go home. The case is upgraded to a missing endangered. EPSO requests resources from NCMEC and FBI Crimes Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. Note: Letitia's aunt Brenda Accord rented a silver Nissan Altima for Letitia to drive until February 1st, 2020. Investigators got a warrant and installed a GPS tracker on the vehicle. That evening, Al Stout and Landon Hyatt appear in a press conference with law enforcement and make an emotional plea to help find their son. Letitia did not appear. Yeah, that's always been
Yeah.
yucky. January
Well,
31st.
and not to mention, if your stepson is abducted by somebody that you say raped you,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't refuse a SANE exam.
No.
Not if you want him found, right?
Right.
Why? There's no reason. There's no reason to refuse that unless you're lying and unless you don't want to get caught doing something. Um,
Or unless you had consensual sex with somebody and there is evidence of that,
right, right.
you know. And now your little friend is now going to be accused of raping you and abducting your son.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I can go on with the 31st if you want.
Sure.
Okay. So on January 31st, between 4:16 p.m. and 5:13 p.m., the rented silver Nissan Altima was tracked to Highway 105 South Perry Park Road area. Note: Letitia Stout speaks exclusively to 11 News reporter Spencer Wilson. Letitia was interviewed with her back to the camera. CBS 11 transcript. In another post, Letitia claims that the EPSO violated her constitutional rights. She stated that her ex-husband was living in her house and she couldn't return to it. She stated that she has taken care of Gannon for 2 years because his mother did not want to. She claims that an officer threatened to shoot her
Shoot.
shoot her when seizing Harley's car. She discussed the rumors of conspiracy theories that Gannon is dead. She insists that they are going to find Gannon. She said her family, her aunt, have been out searching together. She wants an apology from everybody. She speaks of Gannon in past tense. The reporter has stated that she had a moving truck and several people with her, including Harley, who she prompted to answer questions. On February 1st, 2020, it's noted that the FBI found possible traces of blood on the Tiguan, but lab results did not confirm. The rented Nissan Altima was returned on this date. On February 2nd, 2020, El Paso County Sheriff's Office update indicated that they have a multi-agency response, including the FBI, the Army, the National Guard, and others. They were actively searching for Gannon. From February 3rd to February 5th, these are the dates that investigators believe that Letitia was in Pace, Florida, or Pensacola, Florida. February 3rd, 2020, the neighbor Roderick Drayton reviewed footage on his home security system and found video with Letitia and the truck and what appears to be Gannon. Drayton showed the video to Gannon's father, who immediately broke down crying after watching it. He just broke down crying and said, "She lied. She lied." About the time he didn't go to a friend's house, Drayton told ABC 11. Military volunteers searched from 4:30. I'm sorry. 6
6:50.
No, it's
Oh, is it
6:30.
3? Sorry.
I have it. 6:30 a.m. till noon. On February 5th, 2020, Gannon's parents, Al and Landon, and sister Lena go on a national news to plea for his safe return. The Fourth Judicial District Attorney Dan May investigated the Stout home and stated that he was there as part of the overall task force. According to media, several CSI and the mobile crime lab units were there as well. The family was seen leaving while the scene was being investigated. Investigators removed numerous items in brown paper wrapping and in cartons. On February 6th, 2020, Fort Carson soldiers were searching near Fontaine Boulevard. El Paso County Sheriff's Office and Colorado Parks and Wildlife used a remote-controlled sonar vehicle to search Big Johnson Reservoir, according to Fox 21. Colorado National Guard volunteers searched from 6:45 a.m. until 5 p.m. Searchers were seen using dogs. On February 7th, 2020, El Paso County Sheriff's Office stated that they are now searching for Gannon in smaller groups based on leads. Large group efforts were suspended for now. No on-camera interviews for the time being. February 8th, 2020, at 5 p.m., there was a prayer vigil held for Gannon in the Lorson Ranch neighborhood at the corner of Fontaine and Carriage Meadows Drive. On February 9th, 2020, Letitia posted a long, rambling narrative thanking her friends and family in the Carolinas. She states that she had cooperated. She has spent the last 6 weeks of her life fighting for custody. Wait a second. No. Okay, this isn't Letitia's post. What in the world? Sorry. Oh, okay, no, maybe it was. Sorry. She has spent the last 6 years of her life fighting for custody of Lena and Gannon. She talked about her dedication to the children and sacrifices that she has made. She stated that a guardian ad litem gave the children to her while Al was in Alaska, and then she posted screenshots of conversations with Al, legal documents concerning the children's custody, a letter from Landon's mother in the custody case. Letitia also posted a video that she accidentally recorded on her phone, and she said, "Gannon, I promise this is the last time I'm going to ask you. I just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose?" Also on this date, Letitia's sugar daddy account was accessed. Facebook group T. Stout, a journey to prove one's innocence, was created. On February 10th, 2020, an individual named Quincy Brown was listed on El Paso County's most wanted list. He has outstanding arrest warrants from 2018. Investigators have uncovered no evidence to support Letitia's upcoming accusation, that she made this accusation after this date, of involvement in Gannon's disappearance. On the same date, February 10th, 2020, Gannon's babysitter, Stephanie Kane, is interviewed and states that Letitia is innocent. On February 12th, 2020, Letitia released a public statement via Denver station Fox 31.
Our
She
favorite
disputed,
station. Sorry.
yeah, our favorite station. She disputed the security camera video, explained that Gannon cut his foot on tools in the garage. She talked about the gate and Gannon having a key. States that she took a selfie of Gannon in the truck in the driveway to send to Al. We now know that her phone was off and in the house. From February 12th to February 14th, 2020, public knowledge that police were searching Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road. Letitia later gave Al her alibi for being in that area. Letitia stated that they were wasting their time and he would not be found there. On February 13th, 2020, a recorded phone call between Letitia and Al. She stated that Gannon was burned by a candle and he peeled the burns off and wiped blood on his bedroom wall. Al did not ask her about the blood. She volunteered the information that there was blood on the wall of Gannon's bedroom, something that the police had not yet disclosed. Media posts, videos, and stories of searches ongoing in Douglas County continued. On February 14th, 2020, Letitia spoke with Al on the phone. At this time, she gave 4 news stories. One was that the abductor was in the house when El Paso County sheriffs were there. She then said that she was raped by Quincy Brown and Brown abducted Gannon. That Quincy Brown followed her from Petco, laid in front of her truck, and when she stopped, he jumped into the truck, made her take him home, and then he raped her. Also, that she and Gannon were near County Line Road, Highway 105, riding bikes on January 27th, and Gannon hit his head, was abducted by Quincy Brown, who was driven by a man named Terrence. It's quite the imagination she has. On February 15th, 2020, Letitia told Al that Gannon falling off the bike was a lie, but it was what she believed that he wanted to hear. She also stated that the blood in the corner of Gannon's room was a combination of hers and his because the abductor had anally penetrated them both with an object. Military searchers volunteered from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. near Larkspur. On February 15th, 2020, searchers located particle board that was tested and blood matched Gannon's DNA. Reasonable explanation is that the board was used in the disposal of Gannon's remains, more so that she hid Gannon's remains in that area before she went back and got them. On February 16th, 2020, Letitia told a female believed to be Tila Cummings that she had been giving Al false stories because he would not believe anything she says. Also, recorded conversation took place this day and was released by another YouTuber on March 8th, 2020. That same information was sent to our inbox. We didn't release it. We sent it to cops. We sent it to law enforcement. And that's how a couple of those names on the witness list ended up there. Military searchers volunteered from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. near Larkspur. On February 17th, 2020, searchers are sifting snow in Douglas County with FBI evidence team on site. At 1:53 p.m., Letitia told a female believed to be associated with Laura Abernathy that she was thinking about flying out to Colorado to take a lie detector test. She stated, "They think I'm still in Colorado." At 4:11 p.m., Letitia tells an unknown female that she is going to take a lie detector test. On February 18th, 2020, at 10:14 a.m., Letitia called the number 321-247-6876, a number associated with fakepolygraph.com, and stated that she didn't get confirmation of a test that she paid for. At 11:16 a.m., Letitia again called 321-247-6876 and asked about an email she received. An unknown male stated that her report was blocked by management because of illegal activities. An investigator contacted Luke Devlin at the same number and obtained the questions which Letitia had supplied, including, "Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson?"
That is unbelievable to me.
I know. On February 19th, 2020, the media posts the El Paso County Sheriff's Office doesn't have any active search locations. On February 21st, 2020, Landon is interviewed by ABC. She says she just wants her son home. She talks about watching them sift snow and how she can't help but have bad thoughts come in. The Metro Crime Lab van and investigators were again spotted at the Stauch home. On February 24th, 2020, attorney Jose Baez tweets that he is not involved in the Gannon Stout case and to please not contact his firm with further inquiries. That's because Letitia went on Facebook and told everybody that she had retained Jose Baez. On February 26th, 2020, the Metro Crime Lab van and investigators were again spotted at the Stout home. On February 27th, 2020, a search was scheduled by El Paso County Sheriff's Office and then canceled. On February 29th, 2020, in the exclusive Part 2 of the Crime Online article by Lee Egan, it was reported, due to the speculation surrounding her alleged involvement, Stauch claims to have voluntarily taken a lie detector test and passed. However, Crime Online is still working to verify the test and its results, and goes on later to say that Stauch said that she took the test through an independent agency and is willing to share the results in person. On March 2nd, 2020, in the exclusive Part 3 of the Crime Online article by Lee Egan, it was reported that Letitia stated that Al called her and asked her why a saucer-sized puddle of blood was in Gannon's room. The article also quotes Letitia as saying, "He was taken around and shown different places of blood inside the house. We know from the affidavit that law enforcement officers had all the recordings of Letitia and Al's phone calls after February 13th. Letitia gave details about the murder in this interview with Lee Egan that had not been released. Also, on March 2nd, 2020, at approximately 8:04 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, El Paso County Sheriff's Office detectives, FBI agents, and members from the El Paso County 4th Judicial District Attorney General's Office arrested Letitia Stauch, date of birth 8/4/1983, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on the charges of murder in the first degree, a child under 12 in the position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with the deceased human body, tampering with physical evidence. She was held in the J. Reuben Long Detention Center in Horry County for an extradition hearing before being transported to the El Paso County Jail in Colorado Springs. During the press conference, Gannon's parents stood together and cried as officials announced that Gannon was likely deceased and a victim of foul play. Amy, if you want to take it, if
Sure,
you're
no
able.
problem. Okay. March 3rd, 2020. Letitia waived her extradition hearing and agreed to be transported back to El Paso County, Colorado. During the hearing, she stated that she had been given the chance to obtain an attorney that she hadn't been given the chance to obtain an attorney before deciding whether or not to waive the extradition process. Bond was denied. Media reports that Dan May will not be prosecuting the case as his term expires soon. Michael Allen will be the lead prosecutor. Reports state that Allen was part of the investigation team that went into the Stauch home to collect evidence. March 4th, 2020. While being transported to Colorado after extradition from South Carolina, Letitia was able to slip off her cuffs and attack an officer. The officer and Letitia were both transported to a local hospital, and then Letitia was held overnight in the Saline County, Kansas jail. No information on charges related to the attack. EPSO announces that they are still looking for Gannon's remains. March 5th, 2020. Booking name, Letitia Leanne Stauch. Letitia appeared in El Paso County Court via video for case advisement. She was represented by Colorado Springs Public Defender Catherine Strobel. The District Court of El Paso County, Colorado ruled that KOAA TV's request for extensive courtroom media coverage of the case had been granted. March 6th, 2020. Albert Stauch filed for divorce from Letitia Stauch. March 8th. Another YouTube creator released a recording of a phone call that occurred on February 16th, 2020, sent to him by the caller, with Letitia talking to an anonymous caller. Letitia discusses Landon, the searches, the snow, the GPS, Petco, and Letitia claims that she is innocent. And again, I'll reiterate that Danielle received that information too, and it was immediately passed on to law enforcement. We did not share that with our Facebook group or the channel. March 11th, 2020. First appearance for Letitia Stauch. Colorado Springs Deputy District Attorney Michael Allen said that authorities have over 600 pieces of evidence against her. Authorities have at least 107 search warrants against Stauch. March 12th, 2020. EPSO continues searching for Gannon near Highway 83 and Highway 105 in El Paso County, Colorado. And then we skip to March 17th, 2020. Gannon's remains were located in Santa Rosa County, Florida. A road construction worker found the body just off Highway 90 in Pace near the Escambia River Bridge. The body was roughly 1,377 miles away from the house where he was last seen. The boy's body had allegedly been stuffed into a suitcase and left under a bridge. March 20th, 2020. Additional charges were filed: murder in the first degree after deliberation, a Class 1 felony, and 8 counts of crime of violence for the alleged use of a firearm, a blunt instrument, a knife or other sharp object, and for causing the death of Gannon Stauch. March 22nd, 2020. Al Stauch released a statement through Restoration Church thanking the community for their support. April 4th, 2020. Letitia told Crime Online that she maintains her innocence. She declined to discuss the details of the case and said that she is currently working with an attorney for her defense. It's 90% speculation, Stauch said, referring to the affidavit. And that is where our timeline concludes for now.
There's more to add to it since April 4th, but that's where we are at with that.
Right. So, what do you guys think? What's your feedback on all of that? I know, Shannon, the poor sweet boy. Oh, we can go back. The lie detector test fascinates me. And I have in front of me, I'll just read this one part. This is from an article that Lee Egan published for Crime Online, and she said, the lie detector test. On February 20th, Crime Online spoke with Letitia Stauch, who claimed she wanted to provide results of an independent lie detector test. Stauch said she wanted to meet in person and set up a time to talk at Starbucks in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, as she didn't want to transfer the results electronically. A few days later, Stauch said she had a safety issue and asked to reschedule the meeting. After conducting a phone interview on February 24th, a new meeting date was set up for Stauch to provide the test results. I have a safety delay, Stauch explained. Nothing to do with the test or the agency representative. It's a major thing that has happened. After rescheduling, Stauch promised to allow Crime Online to evaluate the independent agent's credentials, law enforcement. That reads weird, but whatever. Along with the results of the lie detector test. The morning of the day the meeting was to take place, Stout canceled again. When offered to do the interview at a later time without the lie detector results, Stout insisted that she had taken the test and passed, but needed more time to coordinate with the independent agent to join her for the interview. Um, Hold on. My page is out of order. I don't know how that happened. Because we're live. That's why. And they're gone. But ultimately, that meeting never happened because she was arrested. Um, and this is the lie detector is extremely interesting because how she thought she was going to get away with that, I don't know. Um, but also, this article is interesting as well as the series of the Crime Online articles because this reporter, you have to understand that Letitia was calling her, and she was calling her from our understanding like an email address, like a Google number, and just offering up information. And this reporter did not publish these things right away. As she got information and put it together, she was relaying it to law enforcement. She was extremely responsible in how she.
Oh, wait a second.
What?
Rebecca Carr has a great point. She said, "What gets me about the lie detector test is her question that asked, 'Did you have anything to do with your stepson's death?' At this time, no one but Tecia knew that he was dead."
Right. Yeah. That's
She
yeah.
gave herself away so many times in so many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great point, Becca. Great point. Yeah, there were a lot of things that she brought up on her own before anyone else knew about it. Tons of things that she brought up. She told us a story from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Liar, liar, pants on fire. I hear you, Amanda. It's just how she's going to get out of this. I don't know.
She's not. She's not getting out of it. I don't know why she thinks that she is.
Yeah.
I don't know how she can look at an arrest affidavit and say that 90% of it is speculation. I mean,
There are a few things that I don't think they're speculation at all. I don't. There are a few things that, like, as we look at it, we find to be very important. And I don't want to go into too much detail on it because I don't think so highly of myself that anybody's listening for tips. But I think there's some things that we kind of cherish as very important information that has the possibility of being thrown out.
Shannon. Yeah, there are some things in there that are there are some things in there that are circumstantial. And you can't prosecute a case on simply having circumstantial evidence.
Right.
What I tend to keep coming back to is that this affidavit was all written and processed. So 1, 2, like 20 days before Gannon was found.
Right.
And at the time of this, when they did this press conference the day that she was arrested, on that date, there were 107 search warrants to date on March 2nd. This is still an active investigation.
Right.
There's still forensics coming back. There's still DNA coming back. There's still pending reports for the autopsy, I have to assume, because those take usually, because they would have done toxicology and all of that. That takes about 6 weeks. And there's a lot of things that are unknown at this point. And I think there's a lot of things that are going to be a lot more than circumstantial.
Right. They are filling in gaps and adding.
Right.
Yes, definitely. And it'll be interesting when we get the electronic information, the electronic communications, because she was Letitia was talking to a lot of people. I mean, she was talking to people from Facebook that she didn't even know, just about,
Yeah.
just trying to prove her point, like, oh, listen to me, listen what I'm saying, or whatever. And it's, oh, I don't know, I can't.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so much more that we have yet to learn, and there's so much more that is going to unfold within this case, and there's still so many unknowns. Still so many unknowns.
I don't know. I'm looking at the internet searches that say, find me a rich guy who wants me to take care of his kids.
I thought there was other searches that said find a guy without
There
kids.
are.
Find
There
isn't
are.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Uh, it's just odd. Her applying for a job in Miami. Like, there's so many things. I can't even, like, sometimes I don't even, when I'm talking about it, I don't even know where to start, because
Mhm.
everything is so contrived. And but yet she's she was smart in a lot of ways, laying some of this out. I think she got sloppy. I think she thought she was smarter than everybody else, but you know
Okay, so let's look at this avenue. We have to believe, based on the affidavit, that Gannon came home. No matter what our thoughts are, whatever.
right.
Law enforcement at this point, as far as we know, they're saying that Gannon came home. Why did she bring Gannon home to kill him?
Thank you.
What happened? There is a 2-hour period of time that they're not able to trace her on January 27th. That 2-hour period of time is the time that we spoke about early in this case, and it's the time between the Petcos.
Right.
They don't know where she was.
Right.
What happened in that 2 hours? Why? What happened? What did she do? Where did she go? Who is she with? And why did she bring Gannon home to kill him? If you base your thoughts on the affidavit only and what's in the affidavit, they say that there was movement in the house upstairs and downstairs. So you can presume, just based on the affidavit, that Gannon was downstairs, Letitia was upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
What what happened?
I don't know. So let's just say that Gannon did, because the affidavit says so, by all whatever, that he was brought home, and we have to assume. I mean, we have to assume that he was alive because of the motion detectors, right? Why?
Mhm.
Why is she's been out all day? If she was going to kill him, why did she wait until she got home into her own house? That
Right.
doesn't
Why do you
make
take a little boy into his house and, according to law enforcement, beat him, stab him, and shoot him
right.
in his bedroom?
Yeah. Yeah,
It doesn't
Darwin
make sense.
too. We've said this before too. And if she shot him in the home, I would have thought neighbors would have heard that. Yeah. Um, I mean, I suppose there's things she could have done to muffle that, but
But you also have to remember that they added those charges for the crime of violence with those specifications after Gannon's body was found.
right.
So you have to assume that there's some evidence of shooting there.
Mm-hmm.
there's some evidence of stabbing and
Mm-hmm.
there's evidence of beating because law enforcement doesn't just add charges for the hell of it.
Right.
They have to have solid evidence backing those charges up because if they don't and they take it into a court of law, they're going to look like
Right. Right. So he had evidence of being shot. He had evidence of being stabbed or punctured or something by a sharp instrument. He had evidence of being hit with blunt force with an object. So broken bones, contusions, clotting, like massive, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean?
hemorrhaging.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Joni Lee said maybe she didn't do it all at home. Okay, maybe she didn't, but why wasn't there any blood inside that truck then?
Right. There wasn't any in the. No,
There wasn't any blood inside the Frontier, the truck that she drove that day, according to the arrest affidavit.
okay, I read it wrong then. I'm confused.
There was blood on the back of her Tiguan.
That's right. And in the front
And there,
passengers on the glove box.
right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. When you said truck, it threw me off because in our world we call it like an SUV a truck, and I just like immediately I was like ah. So
But Plate Lizard, they have a separate charge for each. You said your understanding is that the shooting and stabbing falls under the same charge, but it doesn't if you look at the charges.
right, they're each individual. They were lumped together at one point, and then they separated them all out.
Right.
I'm gonna open my chat back up so I can see it.
Maybe she beat him on Sunday night. I think that's possible. But still, for a lady, I ain't calling her a lady, for a piece of human flesh who concocted as many stories as she did and thought out as much stuff as she did, to the point that she traveled cross country with Gannon's dead body inside of a suitcase. She didn't think out the part about taking Gannon home and beating him or killing him or however she did it inside his bedroom. She didn't think about the part of the blood on his mattress.
Yeah. I mean, she took the bedding, obviously, but
Right.
I have got to step away for 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My alarm is going off for some reason.
It doesn't make any sense. Jeanette, I do believe that he was injured and that's why he couldn't go to school. I do not understand. Yeah, I do believe that's what Amy meant, coagulation. I don't understand why she brought him home to kill him and hide him in a suitcase. And presumably, if you look at that arrest affidavit, and I mentioned this many lives ago, that maybe Gannon was in that house when law enforcement showed up. And looking at that arrest affidavit, he was. He was dead inside of a suitcase. And I hate to be so blunt about it, but when law enforcement came, her Tiguan was backed into the garage. And then when you get further into the arrest affidavit, there was blood on the garage floor underneath the rear hatch of her Tiguan where it would have been backed up. So is that where Gannon was when cops came that night? Was he inside that suitcase underneath her car?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
She had all that time during the day to get rid of him, but she's going into PetSmart and stuff, and he's not on camera, and it's cold, and she's leaving.
But I think PetSmart was very calculated. She wanted to be seen at PetSmart.
Well,
she went there
I mean,
twice.
Right, but what I'm saying is he's not seen there that we know of. He's not seen on camera anywhere. She's leaving a little boy in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and she's so they leave the house around 10. I'm not going to go by specific times because I don't feel like we need to. We all know it's like 10:09 and like 2:19 or whatever, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something
I don't
like
know what
that.
it is
And you have
specifically at the moment.
yeah, and you have kids, and I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Can you? I can't. Can you drive around with your kids for 4 hours without them needing to use the bathroom, want a drink, or get food
No.
if they're healthy?
No.
No. But you bring a plastic bag for him to puke in, right?
Yeah, that's not normal.
No. There's just
If my kid's sick, I'm not leaving my house.
no. No.
And she thought she was supposed to work that day. Why'd she have to do all that
He
running
didn't.
that day?
And he I don't think I've heard this before. A lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, we all do it. We leave our kid in the car for a few minutes or whatever." But I don't think running into Petco to pick out dog coats is like a quick little thing. You know what I mean? And because I've seen pictures of their dogs now since then, and their dogs have like nice clothes. So there's that.
Are they Vera Bradley? Lily Pulitzer?
They're Lily Pulitzer, yes. Yes. They're Lila Rover dogs. Yeah. There's that, and you certainly don't leave a child that is sick enough where you're like, oh, I have to bring a plastic bag in case he pukes or what have you, and leave them in the car alone.
Right.
You just
Right.
don't. And then we suspect that she took his phone into Petco with her. We suspect. So you're leaving him in the car with no phone, and if she was going to kill him and she's in the area that day where they're searching at some point. So,
well, and to go a step farther, how many of you leave your house? How many of you left your house and forgot your phone?
you turn around. We've talked about this. You turn around, especially if you're going to be out all day. And you know what? Like sometimes if you're by yourself, I can only speak for myself. Sometimes if I'm by myself and I realize it and it's going to make me late and it's something important, I can take one for the team. I hate not having my phone, but I'm like, maybe I can do this. Most of the time I turn around.
But if you're going to be gone for 4 hours?
If I'm going to be gone for 4 hours and I have a child with me that does not belong to me, which is my situation because I'm a stepmother, that car gets turned around. I don't care what we're late for. Because I need a phone in case something happens because I have kids in my custody that do not belong to me. You turn the car around.
Right. And at first she said she was taking Gannon to the doctor. So a doctor's not going to have Gannon's cell phone number. The doctor's number is not going to be in Gannon's cell phone. There's just so many things that contradict what she did.
They're asking if you'll take Letitia's picture down.
Will I take her picture down? Yeah, I can take her picture down. Hold on. Can I put up a different picture? Would that be okay?
Yeah, Yvette says not when you have a kid at school either, because something could happen to them. That's exactly right. Something could have happened to Lena, and she was responsible for Lena as well. So, why are you saying, "Oh, Amy"?
Yeah.
Get all excited.
Well, wait a second. Lena was in school. In school. Al out of town. So if Lena got sick at school or something like that.
That's what Yvette's saying, yeah. Yeah, she's saying not when you have a kid at school either because of something could happen to them.
Sorry, guys. I didn't see you asking me to take down her picture.
And Dee Dee Heritage said the same thing. So, yeah. Okay, what did Maui Girl say? Oh, that was Car Guy was saying good call on that. Yeah, how did she call the nurse line? Yeah, she may have said she did that before she left the house, but still, um,
It's
no,
all very
there isn't. Jenna or Gina, there's no way to explain that 4 hours because she says there's no way a kid with stomach issues can go that long with no bathroom, no food, etc. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I'm telling you, like, I don't know. Today I drove an hour and 40 minutes in the car with my kids, and they had a snack and a drink when we left the house. 30 minutes into the trip, I have to go to the bathroom.
Mhm.
And then I'm hungry. Can we get another snack? And I'm like, we can't stop anywhere. That just doesn't, there's no way you could drive around for 4 hours.
No, there's not. I mean, for example, we've been live now for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Just an example. My boys have been in the kitchen where I'm at like 6 times now.
Right.
They've cooked ramen noodles. They've let dog. You just kids require a lot.
Ooh, Sparta. Sparta always has like interesting insights. She stated that she went to meet a guy to buy a bike. Maybe she met a guy named Eduardo to buy a black market gun. Nah, I mean,
Oh, that's possible. And so look at the fact that on Sunday, the first day that Al was gone on the 26th, she logged into her sugar daddy account.
right.
Now, consider that and then consider she's missing for 2 hours on Monday that law enforcement can't account for her presence. Consider all of her stories that she told. All of her stories that she told have a sexual inference. Every one of
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
She was raped by Eduardo. Another person named Quincy did horrible sexual things to both her and Gannon. All of
Mm-hmm.
her stories have this sexual
Yep.
inference in them and sexual accusations. And then when you kind of, you connect the dots and you're like, okay, so she was on a sugar daddy site. She was missing for 2 hours. Law enforcement can't track her whereabouts for 2 hours on the 27th. It raises my eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, was she soliciting people for her and Gannon?
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, but that's where my mind goes. I, I, I don't know that. I'm just,
Right. I get it.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is it possible, like Dee Dee said, maybe she had a hookup? Maybe Gannon was going to tell on her.
Yeah.
Maybe Gannon was going to tell his dad. I
Right.
mean, there's motive somewhere here. You don't just kill your stepson. By all
Okay.
accounts, she was living a picture perfect life.
So why do you refuse a state exam? There's two reasons. One, you weren't raped. Or two, you weren't raped and you had consensual sex. And we talked about this before. There's a reason why she said she was raped. She had to know that they would go further on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she brings up the sodomy thing. Why? To
Mm-hmm.
explain blood? I mean, she'd already, Gannon had already pulled off blisters and wiped blood on the wall, which, by the way, that doesn't like happen.
No.
So you're right. It goes down her excuses go down a very dark path, and I don't like it. I don't understand why he was killed in the house.
Well, and then you have the whole aspect that this entire time she's made herself a victim before Gannon was ever a victim. And she continued to do so in her interviews with police. It was about her being raped. It was about this person doing this to her, Quincy or
Mm-hmm.
Eduardo, whoever the hell whatever story she made up at whatever point. And then she did this prior, and while this investigation was unfolding, before she even left Colorado. What did she
Mm-hmm.
tell us? Landon was wearing her clothes. The cops took her diamonds.
Yeah.
They violated her constitutional rights. They
Yeah.
handcuffed her daughter. They seized her car. They took her phone,
Her
um,
passport, her ID.
her passport, her ID. I mean, she was just a victim after being a victim after being a victim after being a victim. It was all about her. Poor Letitia. Poor Letitia.
Right.
She continued that narrative within her interview with detectives.
Sparta, there's two interesting comments here. Sparta said again, maybe she drugged him thinking he would pass out and left him in the truck while she met her sugar daddy. And then Maui Girl says, I wonder if she was watching Undisputed Truth. Didn't she say something about a man and sexual assault? Yes. There was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff about another man, a bad man. Yeah.
Yes,
And,
Yvette. The reason the mind goes to these terrible places is because there seems to always be little truths in her story.
yep.
There absolutely is truth in her story all over the place.
Right.
And that's scary when it comes to her stories, and it comes to
And then when they don't work, she
right,
says, "Well, I was lying to Al because I thought that's what he wanted to hear." Do you think these are the things Al wanted to hear?
right,
I don't think so.
right, right. Yeah, she's quite and she's an interesting case study actually.
She is. Amanda's got a good point too. All of her allegations in her past have been based on sexual harassment. It
They
was
have.
the Horry County schools up in Alaska. Anywhere she goes, Tisha's just, a little sex panther. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I have different names for her, but
well, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. While we were talking, I was looking at number 147 in the affidavit, and it says also on. So this is right after she talks to Al about the toothbrush. Okay.
mhm.
Um, on 147, it says also on January 28th, 2020, at or about 10:45, Letitia made a statement to investigators via text message. At the time of this statement, Gannon had been missing for approximately 27 hours, and Letitia believed she was the subject in his disappearance without any prior prompting from law enforcement or notification of such. And this is what she texted. What do you want from me? Because I have nothing. One of your very own leaked to me what you guys were doing. I did nothing and or am being set up. I'm not really even sure other than that being told by another blue with El Paso, which doesn't make any sense. I was told I couldn't go home to sleep. And on top of that, men were sent to a home with a minor female, and she was forced to stay there, not to even leave for food. Every conversation that said, even at this moment, I can hear inside, what do you want from me? And Detective Bethel replied via text, come in and talk to me. I would just like information to find Gannon. This is on January 28th, that night. She's already paranoid. She hasn't even been interviewed by the police yet.
Mhm. Yep. She I can't even wrap my head around some of the stuff that she says and did.
Oh yeah, no, I get that she's saying a blue is a cop. I do. It's just like her text is so erratic that the grammar doesn't make sense. But
It's because she's a hood rat with lipstick on, that's all. I
yeah.
mean, her looks are deceiving compared to what she is.
Mm-hmm.
Her looks prior to being arrested, the pictures we saw with her dresses and
You know
all of
something.
that.
something that's bothered me. This is so random. You know the Facebook picture that she's wearing like a Lily Pulitzer dress, and she's with Al, and then um, Harley and Lena are in the photo, and Harley actually has a Vera Bradley purse on, and they're all wearing matching sandals.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Gannon that day?
Is he taking the picture?
Maybe, but it's kind of, it's like foreboding to
Mm-hmm.
me when I see that. It's like that's the way she wanted it for some weird reason.
It does seem that way. It does. I have heard, and this is just speculation, from what I've heard, she resented Gannon. I don't have any, solid, concrete proof of that because I was never in that home. I don't know, but I heard this from a close family member. That there was resentment there because Al was very close to Gannon. Um, I would imagine there was also resentment there too. And this is just thinking Tecia had one child, it was a daughter. Okay. She doesn't appear to have any resentment towards Lena, but there was resentment towards Gannon. And maybe that's because somebody else gave Al a son.
Yeah, and also because there's an age difference. There's a big age difference between Lena and Gannon. She probably had more control with Lena than she did with Gannon. Because and I don't want to say she raised her because I think that's very disrespectful. But because she
Mhm.
spent more time with her when she was younger and at a more impressionable age than Gannon. By the
Mhm.
time, like, Gannon probably met her, like, what, when he was 5?
Okay, so they were married 5 years in January. You have to assume there was some relationship prior to that.
Right.
So you're saying I'd say like 2014-ish
Mm-hmm.
um is when their relationship began. So Gannon would have been about
5 or 6,
he,
right?
he was born in 2008, so it would have been about 5 or 6. Lena would have been about 3 or 4 because there's like a 2-year age gap there
Mm-hmm.
between them. Yeah, Becca, Lena was a victim of her too. There's that whole text message thing
Mm-hmm.
that we have seen where, there was an apology demanded about Lena's accusations about
Regarding
Tecia,
T.
regarding Tecia. So,
Yeah.
um, Becca
Tracy L, you're fine. That happens to me all the time.
Becca is saying that she abused all 3 children badly. I think I brought that up. When
You
I look at
did.
Harley's videos, I see a child that is walking on eggshells. She might be a teenager now, but I see a child that um is very meek, very skittish, very I mean, so we're on live. You guys hear my kids all the time, right? Even though I tell them, "Hey, I'm going to do a live, you got to kind of keep it down." They're not scared to make noise in my house, believe me. When I see Harley vlogging in her basement bedroom and almost whispering, I see a teenager who is scared. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
see. A teenager who has been groomed to be quiet and tiptoe around her own house, walk on eggshells. That's what I see. I could be completely wrong, but I see fear.
Yeah. And Mata, I agree with you. I think that Gannon had her number. And I also think, we keep talking about how he was premature. That was his story, and he was special, and he was the miracle baby, and he was. And that probably drove her crazy to hear that over and over again.
That's sick.
It is sick, but we have to admit that there's people in this world like that. It's disgusting, but there just are. Um, but as True Helpers say, I believe it's safe to say that anyone who's ever had the misfortune of living with Tecia was made a victim of her twisted mind over time. Absolutely. I've heard a lot of things lately that I can't verify. They're just uh, hearsay, I guess. But that she was extremely manipulative from a young age and liked to be the center of attention. And if you're competing with an 11-year-old boy because he was born prematurely, um, that's insane.
Mhm. Well, competing with any child is
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
If anything, she should have had more compassion for Ganon because he was a warrior, he was a fighter, he was
Right.
a little hero who overcame odds that he should have never overcame.
Right.
He was born, I mean, he was considered a micro preemie.
Right.
Those are hard circumstances to be born into.
Yep.
He literally fought for his life coming into this world, and sadly, I believe he fought for his life going out of this world.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, he was not only, I think, bullied by her, and I don't think he was only
he was
physically hurt.
abused.
He was abused emotionally and physically.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is just me, okay? But I believe when a child has their own cell phone to maintain contact with their biological parents, anytime you remove that from their possession, I think that's a violation and I think that's a form of abuse. That's just me. Unless like one of the parents says he's grounded from his phone or something like that.
Mhm.
But the fact that he didn't have that phone to respond to his dad, or he was in a condition, that right there is just, he obviously was talking on Sunday evening because she accidentally recorded it, and he should have had his phone, and he should have been able to text somebody and say, there's things aren't right here, I need help, or something like that. You think when it gets to that point and you're 11 you would do something?
So don't you think as close as Ganon was to Landon, don't you think if he had his phone on that Monday, he would have texted his mom?
Exactly. I think she removed the phone and left hers at home, and yeah, and he didn't have any way to communicate. And the only other thing that would have saved him is if he'd gone to school. And she kept him from that too.
He couldn't go to school.
I said the only thing that would have saved him would be,
No, I know. I'm saying
yeah.
yeah. I think sadly his fate was determined on Sunday night.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm laying in bed and I'm Gannon, right? And I don't know what condition he was in, but let's just say he could make clear thoughts, and he was obviously those that recording was distressing and horrible. Maybe you're laying in bed as Gannon and you're thinking, well, at least I go to school in the morning. I could tell somebody. I don't have a phone, but I could tell somebody in the morning when I go to school.
mhm,
But she takes that away from him too.
right,
And then she
right.
drives him around all day, but doesn't kill him while she's driving around all day. She waits until they're back at the house. It. I mean,
Hold on.
can we agree that something happened on? Well, yes, something happened on Sunday night that carried on into Monday. But did something else happen on Monday on top of it? I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll be back in 1 second.
Sure, no
Sorry.
problem. Wendy Johnson. Didn't Shannon text Harley saying, or Gannon texted Harley saying T forgot her phone and T had it the whole time? Yeah, he did. And I don't think that he sent that message because I would think, this is just me, but I think Gannon would have said, your mom forgot your phone. I don't think she would have said like, I don't think he would have said T or Tisha. I think it would have been like your mom if he typed it. But yeah, that sulfur music, that recording of him is so beyond upsetting. Yeah. And Mata, she was only alone with the kids for Sunday. Well, yeah, basically Saturday night until Monday. And Al's mom had just left the house too on Saturday. So grandma and Al left on Saturday. Yeah. And then
Is
all
that
of
is that a bird? Is that your alarm going off?
that is what you call a whippoorwill.
Really?
And it is the most annoying bird in the world. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so there was
Sorry.
no, that's fine. There was a message sent to us that says this person wants to remain anonymous, that Tecia did physically abuse Harley by whipping her with a belt until she bled, and Al had to throw Tecia off of Harley, and she tried to kill Lena by suffocating her and banging her head on the wall in
Oh
November,
my God.
and that's what that text message was about. Um, so
Oh my God. Okay, I can't process that right now because it forces me to like take back things that I've said.
yeah, there was other stuff shared in this message, and I think at this point, I'm not going to share that, but
Okay, I'm gonna have to move. I'm so sorry about that bird. It is
is it
not my bird.
outside?
It is outside and it is incredibly loud, and I don't know where I'm gonna go where you guys aren't gonna hear it. Chris has 3 box fans. We have a ceiling fan. We don't need box fans, but we have 3 in our bedroom right now trying to drown it out. And I just saw the bedroom light come on. He is threatened to like birdshot the hell out of this thing. Like, we just, yeah, I mean, I don't know where I can go to get away from it. But it does this from like, I don't know, like 11 o'clock at night until like 6 in the morning. Can you still hear it?
Yes, it's okay. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me.
I'm so
But
sorry.
so I'm kind of just blown away about these abuse accusations. That's pretty serious. Like extremely serious. And as a parent, I have no words
No.
because it would be a cold day in hell that somebody hurt my children.
So I know you can't, and it doesn't really, it's not going to justify it, but was it stated like the circumstances and when that happened? Like, was it?
The circumstances of what caused it to happen, or
Well, I mean, there's really nothing causing it to happen because
the alleged attempted suffocating of Lena was in November.
I mean, did she just like lose herself in rage? Like, oh my God, I can't. Kim Hamilton. Yeah, I'd say she has abused them all physically and especially verbally. You can tell in that video she took of her and Gannon. I can't even listen to that video. Poor little boy didn't stand a chance. I agree. And let's just throw like random things in here while we're talking. She Googled how to repair a suede couch.
She
Remember
needs
how
waterboarded.
she, that's being kind. She needs to be tied to the tree where my bird is. Listen to that. Oh my God.
It reminds me, you know how guys whistle at girls?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah. Google whippoorwill. Yeah. People like, yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess
As far as I
Al
don't know what happened to the
okay.
couch, if it's still in the house or what. I have no idea.
So I guess that Tecia had been telling Al for months that she didn't want the kids anymore. She wanted them gone. She was done taking care of them, which does fall in line with what I was told that on
Right.
January 7th, when the kids had to return to Colorado, they were, the intention in South Carolina with Landon. Landon wanted to keep her kids. Al was on board with it. There were other circumstances that did not make that happen. And sadly, those kids got back on a plane to Colorado.
This and what 2 weeks and 6 days later, this happens.
Right, right.
That's yeah.
Oh, wow, Amanda, Texas girl. The relevance of safe passage being included in the witness list. Safe passage
Mm-hmm.
serves children and non offending caregivers in the midst of abuse investigations. Wow. That would actually fall in line with, I think a lot of us have said Harley had to know something was going on, right? She had
Mm-hmm.
to notice that her mother's 1111. She had to notice that her mother's um actions were odd to say the least,
Mm-hmm.
but she could have been literally in fear of her own life to say anything. And
Very much so.
you have to think of an 11-year-old, a 17-year-old's thought process. They don't have the same mindset that we do. So I don't know that a 17-year-old's thought process would be like, okay, well, if I go to the cops, I'll be safe. They don't necessarily know that if they have any information and they give it to police, that the police are going to protect them. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does. Um yeah, I don't think that if you were 17 years old and you've been raised in that environment and seen things and you I don't think you'd feel like you would be safe going to the police, especially with a mom as manipulative as Letitia. Because you have to that's a calculated risk. What happens if, like, for some reason in her, and I'm not saying this about the police because I support the police, but in a 17-year-old's mind, and your mom's very manipulative, what if I do go to the police, they don't believe me, and I'm returned to my mom? What happens then?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah, and that's the only parent she has. That's a really good point, Anne. It's the only parent she has. And I'll tell you this too. Um, you read a lot of things, and when a parent psychologically abuses a child and controls them and manipulates them and things like that, this it's almost like Stockholm syndrome. Like, all you want is for that parent to love you and acknowledge you and stay in their good graces. And
right.
so, yeah, and you kind of have to be a survivor. And I'm not saying anything bad about a 17-year-old that might find themselves in that situation, but you other other people might be sadly collateral damage for saving yourself.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Hold on one second. I'll be back
Sure.
in like 3 minutes.
Sure. Me and the bird will hold down the fort. Amanda, that was a great point. You say regarding safe passage, they also do forensic interviews, forensic medical exams, victim advocacy, and court prep. Yep. Glowing Ember. I'm sorry about the bird. Literally, there's nowhere in my house. The thing is so loud that we've had to drown out the sound in our bedroom so we can sleep. So, telling you. I gotta go, the bird. Oh, you guys are funny. Oh my God, he stopped. You guys, he stopped. Oh my God, I think it's over. Oh my God, get a water hose and hose it. Sparta, it took me a long time. I taped this sound and like put it out on the internet. Like, what is this thing? And it's the weirdest bird, and it's small, and I don't even know where it is. But yeah, it's done. So thank God. He must know I'm talking about him. Okay, you're right. True helper. It's like Beetlejuice. I won't. I won't say another word about it. I won't. Is that true, Sparta? If court TV covers it and won't be live, it will be aired after the trial is over? I hope that's not the case. Joe. Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm back.
Wait, listen really carefully. Don't say anything out loud. Just listen. It's gone. Actually, it flew away. I can hear it in the distance, but yeah. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Everything's good. Everything's good.
Good.
So
Danielle shot my bird.
I couldn't. Listen, you guys, I have a bird living on my front porch. I've told Amy this story.
Oh my God.
This bird, okay, started making its appearance on my front porch about 5 years ago. And I only figured it out because I have like my front porch has pillars on it. And about 5 years ago, I was unlocking my front door and I kept getting hit in the head with something. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And it was like I looked once something hit me and I looked down and it was a little tiny pebble. And I turned around and looked, and this bird had built a nest on top of one of my pillars, and anytime I go to my front door, it would spit rocks at me. It comes back every year, and it's back again this year.
She sends me pictures of the nest.
I don't know. I need to Google when eggs hatch and when these birds will fly away because I get tired of getting hit with little pebbles. It's ridiculous.
Oh, he's gonna come back with a little bird gang.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't really have anywhere to move it to, Tracy. I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to interfere with its habitat. I'll just use a different door. They'll hatch and fly away at some point. It spits rocks at me. That's the thing, and it shouldn't be a violent bird. It's a robin. I didn't know robins were mean, but this one spits. Like a llama, because llamas spit. I was a spitting bird on my front porch. The neighbor's house. I can move it to my favorite neighbor's house.
The next man that crosses Danielle's getting a bird's nest in their house.
Yeah, this one definitely spits rocks at me. It's not a nice one. So
horrible.
a rocking spitting robin. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Amanda, you noticed that in Harley's videos? Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine my kids not being comfortable in their own home. Mine are overly comfortable in our house. They run this place. Even if they do think I'm a mean mom, they run this place.
Well, I say this to adults a lot, but even more so for children. Home should be your safest place.
Absolutely.
And it always, it always breaks my heart when I hear people say, "Oh, I don't want to go home because of this." Like, not because it's messy, but like something serious or
Right.
whatever. But children that have no control over their environment,
Mhm.
that's just, you know, I mean, the kid had health issues anyway, but I can't even imagine like the anxiety and stress that those children must have been under in that house.
Yeah, Becca, we have that information about the obituaries, her being listed as her grandfather's daughter, but I'll message you. We have some information on her dad.
Yeah, Amber, you keep talking about the Jody. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look because, like, we're a military family, and I know I know what a Jody is. I know the song, but I don't remember. I'm not saying that she didn't. I don't remember Undisputed Truth saying that. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. Do you remember what episode by chance?
Because she did like 5 or 6 on Gannon.
She did more episodes on Gannon than she has any other case. It's
Yeah. Yeah, the the and what you're
Katrina.
saying.
Oh, Katrina. Yeah, Katrina. We had her on here.
Oh, okay. That's who you're talking about. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she's been on our channel and she's awesome actually. She sent me a Facebook friend request. I need to go into my friend request and accept that. Katrina's a really nice girl. I'll have to I wonder, do you remember what live it was that she said it on?
Soul for music. She says, "This is random. I haven't worn jeans in a couple of weeks. I haven't left my house most anyways. Jeans feel so uncomfortable. I haven't gained weight, but I feel suffocated without my yoga pants." I will tell you that
Same soul for music.
I weighed myself. I have not gained weight, but somewhere I've redistributed it because my jeans don't feel so good. I did
No,
have to.
I have a theory that when you don't wear jeans for a while, they don't fit right. Like your body isn't as, I don't know the right word. Like jeans restrict your body, right? They restrict your,
Yes.
so I
Hmm.
feel like if you don't wear them, then
Everything is like
like
Eddie
you're,
Murphy and Flubber, like
yeah, yeah.
like when you're taking the Spanx off, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
out.
Right.
Contents under pressure.
Oh, Kim Hamilton, I know. Look, his eyes are gorgeous, aren't they? Sweet baby. I'll never understand.
Mm-mm. No.
That makes sense, Becca. You said you believe Harley does know some things, however, she isn't going to betray her only living parent, and you also believe she has lived her whole life being manipulated by T.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, it's a very fair statement, a very strong statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Groovy Granny Gail B. The affidavit is the main source of info for the public, and that was only a portion of what law enforcement released. So much more for us to learn. I will never understand what makes people do horrendous acts. No. And I keep saying, like, why? What's the motive? What's the motivation? Of course I want to know that, but it's not going to make anything different.
Right.
It really isn't. It's just human nature for who, what, when, where, and how, why. So
Sparta, I do not believe the truck had GPS because if it did, I don't think there would be a 2-hour time frame that was not accounted for on the 27th, right?
right, for all, yeah. Um,
unless she got into another vehicle for 2 hours. That's completely possible, although it's not listed. She does she has, had a habit of numerous vehicles. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking a family of 2 adults and 1 teenage driver, and there's like, I don't know, 6 cars involved so far. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. There's, I believe there's 5.
5. 5,
Yep,
yeah.
there's 5.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure you guys can hear my 11-year-old yelling in the background. Xbox wars, guys, they're real. They happen all the time in this house.
Gosh.
And Mata, something was said about her leaving a phone at PetSmart. I think that was some speculation that was thrown out there. Um, if, and that's an if, she left a phone at PetSmart, it would have had to be Gannon's, right?
Right.
Because hers was at home.
So they're saying, what about Gannon's phone and EGPS? Well, here's the thing. We might find that out when the electronic communications. I don't know if that'll be included or not. She may have turned off all location settings, and if she didn't make calls, then it wouldn't be pinging off cell towers, right?
It still pings
That's
if it's
right. It still
on. Yeah,
does. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know. I mean, what about if she had it on airplane mode?
still pings.
Still pings. Okay.
Yeah, everything pings. Unless it's powered off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did she power off Gannon's phone for 2 hours that day? I don't know. It's possible.
Why would you? She purposely leaves her cell phone at home. They take Gannon's phone, but she wears her Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some things she does so, and I'm not giving her kudos or anything, but some things she lays out so meticulously and so just very clever. And then other things are just like sloppy as I'll get out.
Right. Right. Danette, she was either on her way to get another car or to drop a car off. Probably to get another car since the cops were waiting for her and they knew her arrival time. Like they knew when to expect her. So, Rebecca Carr, you believe that she turned Gannon's phone off during that time because the text from Al was left unanswered until she went back to PetSmart. Great point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great point. Tracy L, I don't think she forgot her phone on
Yeah, I think she purposely left
without
it.
intention. I think there was purpose behind that. Yeah.
I think she purposely left a phone at home, and I think she purposely took Al's truck.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't I still don't understand. Maybe we will understand at some point why Gannon was brought home. That's what law enforcement believes, why he was brought home to be killed. I mean, taking pictures of Gannon at 8:30 in the morning is interesting to me.
yeah.
Because there's another time gap. She took those pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
What, 2 times in the morning.
Right. Like around 8:15, 8:20, something like that.
Right, and then she left the house 2 hours later. What
Mm-hmm.
was going on inside that house during that 2 hours? There's a reason she took those pictures.
Right.
Like, she's trying to I don't know if it was because she was trying to prove, "Look, Gannon was alive on the 27th. Here he
Mm-hmm.
is sleeping in bed."
Mm-hmm. There
Something.
is, yeah, and there I've heard other people say she took it because he had the switch in bed with him, and maybe she was saying like, oh, like look, he he took the switch, or like he was using it without permission and fell asleep with it, which was weird because we know he was up late that night, or um to prove that the switch was at the house at some point.
Right.
There's a reason why the switch is in that photo.
Right. Yeah, and there's a reason she took those photos to begin
Mm-hmm.
with.
Yeah.
Sparta, did you notice she took them right after Harley left for work? To me, that shows premeditation of her plan. That's interesting. Rebecca said supposedly she was sending the pictures to Al.
Mm-hmm.
Jess Nelson, it's like Watson, the doll pictures. Maybe she was going to pass them off as being taken later. Huh. Maybe.
Oh, Maui girl. Yeah. Maybe Al wanted to talk to him and she was like, oh, he's sleeping. Here's the picture.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
That's,
point.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And Al was in a different time zone, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Gina, I've wondered that as well. Gina said she really wonders if his switch was with him when they found him. I wonder that as well.
Yeah.
I
We've,
wonder. I've said that a couple
we've,
times to Amy.
yeah, we've talked privately about that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, you guys have a lot of good input, a lot of great thoughts, and you make me think. I like that. There's a lot to be taken away from this. A lot. There's still a lot to be learned, a lot that we don't know, and it leaves a lot of questions.
Glowing Ember wants to know if anybody knows exactly where Gannon was when T took that video of him the night before. Is he in that video? You can hear him. You can't really make anything out. There's some people that say you can. There's a very faint glimpse of what looks to be like Lena, which is odd. I think he was in the. Isn't it like he's in the living room, right? They had to be in the living room because the TV was on and she's talking about the sofa.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, it looked like the living room. You
Yeah,
bring up the sofa. That's another interesting point because there was blood recovered from a throw pillow that went on the sofa.
right. And here's an interesting thing. So it does look like it's upstairs, okay, in the living room. But she talks about the sofa, and in the Apple Watch message, if that's real, it says Gannon knocked over a candle in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So, not really sure how that works.
I mean, she could have had Gannon come upstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that the video started in Lena's room. Lena
Right.
was in bed in the beginning of that video, and Lena's room was on the first floor. And Tecia didn't walk downstairs to talk to Gannon. She walked out of Lena's bedroom into the living room area. It looked like the TV was on, the news was on, talking about TMZ reporting Kobe Bryant's death. So after she received that message about the candle, if that even happened, because that's not noted in the affidavit. There's nothing noted in the affidavit about a burned area of carpet, anything, nothing. She could have made Gannon come upstairs, but then you have to even wonder, why was Gannon awake at that time of night, 11 o'clock at night? Why was she in Lena's room that late at 11 p.m. when they had school the next day?
Because there was obviously some other chaos going on.
Yeah, there
and
was something going on.
She was on a rant and she had kept them up. And either Lena woke up coming out to see what was going on, or, who knows?
Right.
But
yeah, those kids should have been asleep long before that candle text was even sent.
Yeah.
They should have been asleep for school the next day. I mean,
Right.
Lena and Gannon's bus was set to come at 7:02, I believe it was, in the morning, which means those kids would have had to gotten up at 6 a.m. in the morning. They shouldn't have been awake at 11 p.m. at night. Um,
Right.
Gannon shouldn't have been awake to knock over a can. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-mm. No, it doesn't. And you know, was Harley home at 11 o'clock at night? Like, where was she?
Right. Right. Well,
Locked in her bedroom.
she had to be home because she sent the message.
Mm-hmm.
That was a message sent from Harley to T's Apple Watch, right?
Well, there's some ambiguity about that. So,
Well, I believe it was sent from that's what I believe because that's the only
mhm.
sense I can make out of it. That message doesn't make sense that it would be sent to Al and it's taken on an Apple Watch. Tecia has an Apple Watch. It looks like a
Mm-hmm.
message that was sent to Tecia
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't even know why there was a picture taken of an Apple Watch.
because that's what T does.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why did she put up a video of Gannon waving by and jumping into the
Which,
water? That's
yeah,
sick.
because
That's
she's
absolutely
disgusting.
disgusting.
Because
Hey,
I'm sorry, she was fucking with Landon. That's why.
oh yeah. Hey, Lufa. Yeah, she was. She was.
Excuse my
Um,
language. Sorry. Just, I can't with her sometimes.
yeah. Yep, I get it. I get it. It's all very makes your head spin for sure because you
It
just
does.
get lost in all these different possibilities. Yeah, Lufa, it's Danielle. This is our channel. This is our name. Um,
Welcome to WTAF.
yeah.
Wicked Truth and F bombs.
We've still been here. We've still been here. I think we were live like, I don't know, 8 days ago or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yep.
Something. Give me just 1 second.
Sure. But
Sorry.
we're getting back on a regular schedule now. Going Emperor. My father was abusive, and I remember him making us get up in the middle of the night to clean the house. If they're angry, they don't care about anything else than what is irritating them. Yeah, that's true. And I'm so sorry that you went through that. I really am. Yeah, it gives me a knot in my throat too, that girl. Lufa, glad you're back. We would never abandon you. Never, ever, ever. Sparta. Look in the trail video where Harley is in the kitchen. To the right of the fridge, there's a little white table in the hallway. It is in Gannon's crying video. Okay, I am going to have to go look back at that. Yeah, I thought T sent that text to L too. I'm confused. I don't know. Um, and Groovy Granny Gal B, I don't know the answer to that either. I really don't. I wish I did. It could help make things a little bit easier to decipher sometimes. But
So you think the text was sent to Al?
I do
Hmm.
because
How how would T why would T post pictures of Al's watch though when her and Al weren't together?
I don't know. That part doesn't make sense to me, but I don't get the if you're okay, so if you're in the same house, why are you sending to one person to the other like don't freak out, he's okay, but like you're in the same house. Why are you
Maybe she wasn't home.
That's true.
And if her history of abuse is accurate with what we've been told, Harley, her first response would be don't freak out, knowing that her mom freaks out, right?
Right. Hey,
That's how oh,
yeah. No, I agree. Um, yeah, that's true. because their mom does freak out. No, that's a yeah, okay.
I can't
Yeah.
see them texting that to Al when he wasn't home. How was Al gonna freak out on Gannon when Al was in Oklahoma and supposed to be gone for 2 weeks?
Right. Well, the only reason I thought that was because it has been said that Tisha had to report every little thing. Like she was always like reporting things, and in a way I felt like maybe she was doing that to get the information out first. Do you know what I mean? Like if Gannon hurt himself, it was like she had to immediately like tell a parent that he hurt himself, so nobody thought that she did something to them. That's how it worked in my mind. So that's the mindset I was on. One thing I just want to stop and say, um, there's not many rules in this channel, but one of the other things, and it's just out of respect for everybody, we don't mention other creators on our channel. Um, we just don't, because we don't. So that's just a little rule, good or bad,
Yeah.
across the board. We don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Harley had an Apple Watch though too.
Yeah, somebody asked that, and I said I didn't know. I don't know.
Her text to the owner of the house. Maui girl, I haven't seen that.
It's in the affidavit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's some confusion about that because it says, hold on, I got it in front of me. I won't read them all or anything. Don't worry. I won't bore you with that. But I remember I was confused when I was reading it because, oops. Oh my gosh. You still there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. I knocked my phone and it's on a different screen, but it's saved. It stayed. Hold on. I gotta get like little markers so I can flip through this better. Okay, so let's see. All right. So like on 133,
Mm-hmm.
it says they're listing like text messages outgoing, and it says participants, and it says Nicole and then parentheses owner. So she she was texting owner of the house, I guess. But it's weird because the calls are like at like 2:14 in the morning on one.
Well, no, that's standard. You gotta add 7 hours to that
Okay.
because that's UTC time. That's the standard universal time
Oh,
that's
you're
used.
right. Okay, you're right. So then that's 9:14 in the morning. Yeah.
Yes.
So on 1:29 in the morning, presumably she's texting the owner of the rental property.
That's not who owns the rental property though.
It's just what they're
To-
putting in the affidavit, though, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's
No,
who it is.
but they're
Yeah.
not. Are they saying it's the owner of the home? Does it say that anywhere in the affidavit besides the word owner?
No.
Okay, because I'm thinking along a different lines that they're saying that the owner of the phone where these text messages came from was Nicole.
Okay.
Maybe Nicole provided these messages, owner of the phone. Nicole isn't an owner of that house. I have the owner's
Okay.
information.
Right. So then on 134, though, they have Nicole parentheses owner, comma daughter. And it's the outgoing messages: carpet powders, two things, baking soda, and trash bags. It's confusing. Um, it's confusing what that is.
Oh, wait a second. So they have the right time of 4:52 p.m. there. Okay, so no, those times above are right.
So it is 2:14 in the morning.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's
I think Nicole is like a friend of hers or something.
okay.
I have the owners of the house. I have all the house stats, and Nicole is not listed as an owner of the house. Um, the person who owns the house, Kim Hamilton, raised the price of the rent, correct? Not the price of the house, though. The
Right.
house is not for sale. It's the price of the rent. Um, yeah, I'm still here, Lufa. We're still here. It's good to see you on here. We're gonna have to look into that some more. That's interesting. Very interesting. Hmm. Are you there, Amy?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I got lost rereading something and I just um yeah, that Nicole and then the parentheses owner thing confuses me. We need to figure that out.
Yeah, this is just my take, and I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I take it as being Nicole is the owner of that phone.
Right.
Um, and Nicole furnished those text messages. Those
Mhm.
were text messages taken from no, they were taken from those were taken from T's phone.
Right.
Those were
And
outgoing
wh-
messages.
what so here's the thing. There's some weirdness going on here because in 132 you have the text messages between Stephanie the babysitter and
Right,
Letitia, right?
right.
And they are set up differently or extracted, that information was extracted differently or whatever than the way that they have them listed in 133 and in 134. So it's I don't know why they're listed differently. I just don't know. um this is so random too. Have you ever found it like extremely coincidental that Stephanie the babysitter happened to like move right away?
Yeah, it's pretty coincidental.
I mean, Stephanie took care of them all the time, but like, oh, now this happens and she just moves.
Right, right. Very interesting. Hmm.
Was it a direct, this is so stupid, but was it a direct rental situation or were they using like a third party, like a real estate agency to
It went through
like a property management
like a
company?
Lorson Ranch something. I have it somewhere. And Jess Nelson made a good point that maybe Nicole is who they called for problems. That's a great
Right. That's what I
possibility.
was thinking. Like maybe she was a property manager for
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then Letitia just put it in her phone like owner, you know.
Right, right. Rebecca, you said that and she blocked you, the babysitter. Yeah, it's a little too coincidental, isn't it?
Oh, really? Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Wow. Huh, Lufa, that's interesting. You were doing research, and some people who got the flu shot can test positive for COVID. Huh, that's very interesting. So,
Mhm.
Ann Mata, that's another great question. Is there a Nicole on the witness list? I need to print the witness list. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. Um, I'll look at that when we get off this live for sure. I think we're probably going to wrap it up pretty soon. We've been on here 3 hours and 13 minutes so far. As much as we love talking with all you guys, unless there's something else you guys want to talk about.
Let's do this. You guys tell us what either on the Facebook page or in the comments, what you want to really concentrate on next time. And that'll help us, organize the next couple of things that we do. We have some ideas in mind that I think we're going to work on this week. And,
Yeah.
but definitely, and I will say, Somebody said earlier or Tracy out said we need to say like WTAF in Cincinnati, but we're not. So I could just say live from my backyard. It's WTAF.
Live from my kitchen island.
Live from the Husky Playroom.
They've been pretty well behaved tonight, by the way.
They were, I heard at one point, I heard them getting rowdy tonight. I heard the little nails clicking on the floor and I was like, yep, they're here.
They've been a little sleepy this evening. They're both sleeping, actually. My younger husky is like a goat, you guys. He has a thing for tin cans. So you may have heard him. He got a can earlier while I was on live. He got a can out of the trash because that's what he does. And he's like a goat. He eats anything and he likes to chew up tin cans. So without Eduardo the bird, he only made a guest appearance. Aw, you're so sweet, glowing number. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I think it's therapy for us too to sit here and talk to you guys, honestly.
It is.
I'll be very like frank. I had a lot of, when we came back to rebrand, I had a lot of nerves. I think Danielle did too, just because it had been a while. And then I had nerves tonight too before I came on. But like once we get on here and we start talking to you guys and we get a good flow, like I always feel good afterwards. So
yeah, definitely. I don't think I
Danielle, did you Google how to fix your couch when your husky chewed up your cushion?
You know what I did? I took all the stuffing and I shoved it back in the couch cushion. That's how it's fixed. If there's one thing I've learned in life, one thing, do not buy expensive furniture when you have children and dogs.
Amen.
Because,
yeah,
they
I have no rugs in my house for that reason.
No rugs? Oh, yeah.
No, my floors are naked all the time.
Yeah. Also, do not buy. They also ruin your vehicles. Just saying, the inside of your vehicles.
Yeah.
Kids and dogs destroy those as well. So,
yeah.
My huskies love car rides. So, good point, Mignon. Do not buy expensive anything if you have children.
So true. So true.
Listen,
no.
They take your money, they destroy your stuff, but they're worth it.
They're like gremlins in a movie theater.
They are.
And you get all like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing this. And in the morning, they're like the sweet little gizmo. And you're like, oh, it's okay.
Aw, soul for music. I'll never forget when my oldest was a newborn, I bought a brand new couch. And by the time he was 2, it was like a microfiber couch. I don't know. It looked like suede, but it was microfiber. I had cleaned it so many times from his bottle to where he got to be in his sippy cup. From where he, when he became a toddler and he walked around with this sippy cup, how they throw them and milk just flies out of them and all that. And, oh, kids.
I have one that still does
that. And Modest said they took her youth and her bladder control. Amen. That's funny. No, but kids are amazing. They are.
They are, but.
Oh, Rebecca, yes, car seats are so gross.
Ew. Yeah, those are like petri dishes. Disgusting.
Really, Shannon? Your kid never destroyed anything? Even puking as a baby? You're a lucky mama.
Except puking as a baby.
Except puking, okay. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, you guys. Nathan was maybe 2 or 3, and he was in the back seat in his car seat, and I was driving down the road, and he's like, Mommy, I'm going to puke. And I was like, Oh, no, and I had my dad's car at the time. I don't know why I was driving my dad's car, but he puked all over, all over, and it was like, you know how seats have pockets in the back of them? Like,
Yes.
oh my gosh. Oh,
Ew. Ew.
oh, it was horrible.
So there's one thing I can't deal with, and it's if somebody gets sick, like I like hearing it or smelling it. And I can remember when they were like 5 and 7, we were driving back from school, and Bella was like, "I think I'm gonna get car sick." I'm like, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine." She's like, "No, I really do sometimes," and I've never seen it before. And then it happened, and I pulled over the side of the road, and I'm like dry heaving, and it was like, oh, it's just disgusting. Like I can't, From then on, I had those little bracelets. I was like, wear 9 of them.
Yeah.
Like I can't do this anymore.
Aw.
It's just gross.
Oh, yeah, puke is gross.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
alright, guys, we'll probably wrap it up here.
Thank you to all the moderators, and thank you for being here tonight. And if I can just ask you to give us a little
Oops.
thumbs up, if you don't mind.
Yes.
We would
Like
really
Amy
appreciate it.
like Amy said,
Uh-oh.
is
Say
Sir
what?
Bader, is that my son? Are you on here are you my son? Did he change his name again?
Sir Bader. I think so.
Oh, Lord.
Do you
Get
want
in
me to
trouble.
time him out? Hey, I like boobies.
Oh, Nathan. Child of mine.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yes, like Amy said, thank you to all of our moderators down there. You guys are amazing. You're a 35-year-old man.
Uh-huh.
All right. True Helper, Rebecca Carr, Amanda Texas Girl, Car Guy 72, Doodlebug, SAE Gen X, Mignon and Iris. Thank you guys all so much for being here and helping us and modding down in the chat. It's been great being on here. We will definitely be back this week, probably many times this week, I'm sure.
Yes.
So on that note, I guess we'll say good night.
Good
And
night. We can sing the song.
you can sing it. Go ahead.
So long, farewell from WTAF.
Oh my God. All right, guys. Good night. It was great
Good
being here too. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm hitting off on the wrong place. Hold on.